Chapter 1437. Great Elder Qing. I had already left with Zhao Ling Xian. The elders in the main hall all sighed. Thinking of the Thousand Shadow sect's current situation, everyone was filled with anxiety. Sect leader Qing Shun, this disciple, has an urgent matter to report. At this moment, a female disciple rushed in from outside. Speak, Qing Shun said with a wave of his sleeve. A man has barged into our Thousand Shadows sect, saying he's looking for Zhao Ling Xian and Great Elder Qing Ying. The expressions of everyone in the hall changed drastically. Qing Chun quickly walked down the tall platform and said, "Quick, bring me over to take a look." At this time, the entrance of the Thousand Shadow sect was in a mess. Dozens of women in white stood in a line with swords in their hands, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, facing the group of women. However, he did not see Hua Xiaojun. Qin Feng was afraid that a fierce battle would ensue if he forced his way into the Thousand Shadows sect, so he had Hua Xiaojun wait for him in a secluded area outside the sect. "You arrogant disciple, how dare you trespass on my Thousand Shadows sect's territory? I advise you to leave immediately. Otherwise, when the elders and sect master arrive, you won't be able to escape even if you want to." An older woman stood out from the crowd and pointed her sword at Qin Feng with a cold expression. Qin Feng was not afraid in the slightest. He was as lofty and unyielding as a mountain. "I have no ill intentions in coming to your sect. I only want to find two people. As long as you let me see them, I will leave immediately." The Thousand Shadows sect's Grand Senior Sister berated. "Nonsense. Our Thousand Shadows sect is one of the 5 venerated sects of the divine Great Land. Our disciples are of noble status. You can't just meet them as you please. If you don't leave now, don't blame us for being impolite." The Thousand Shadows sect was a sacred place for female cultivators. Aside from male disciples from allied sects who occasionally came to learn, no other male cultivators were allowed to step foot into the Thousand Shadows sect. Now that Qin Feng had suddenly appeared, it naturally angered these female disciples. Both sides refused to back down. Just as the fight was about to break out, a beautiful figure flew over. "Senior Sister Qingyu, please stop. Young hero Qiao, why have you come?" The person who came was Qing Xiao. Qing Mei and Qing Zhu also rushed over. When the 3 women saw Qin Feng standing inside the Thousand Shadows sect, they felt as if they were dreaming. However, they quickly understood that Qin Feng had most likely followed them here. "Junior Sister Qing Xiao, do you know this person?" Qing Yu stared coldly at Qing Xiao, then looked at Qin Feng with a strange expression. Qing Xiao saw through her senior sister's thoughts and quickly explained, "Senior Sister Qing Yu, don't misunderstand. Qing Mei, Qing Zhu, and I were out training a few days ago and met young hero Qiao in Poison Sun City. Thanks to young hero's help, we obtained plenty of fire spirit stones and cultivation resources." After hearing Qing Xiao's words, the strange look in Qing Yu's eyes finally dissipated, but she still said forcefully, "Regardless of whether this person has done you any favors or not, he has the audacity to barge into our Thousand Shadows sect. That means he has broken our sect's rules." Naturally, Qing Xiao knew the consequences and hurriedly advised Qin Feng, "Young Master Qiao, before the sect leader and the elders arrive, you should quickly leave." Qing Mei and Qing Zhu also grabbed their hands and looked at Qin Feng nervously. The 3 girls had a good impression of Qin Feng and did not want to see him being suppressed by the Thousand Shadows sect. However, Qin Feng did not back down. He had painstakingly come to the divine continent from the Huaxia secular world and had finally stepped into the Thousand Shadows sect. He had not even seen Zhao Ling Xian and his mother, so how could he leave? "Miss Qing Xiao, you don't have to persuade me anymore. I'm gonna see Ling Xian and Qing Ying today." Qin Feng's attitude was resolute. The group of female disciples were a bit confused. The 2 people Qin Feng was looking for were important figures in the Thousand Shadows sect. What was his relationship with Ling Xian and Qing Ying? These thoughts flashed through Qing Yu's mind, but she did not care too much. She suddenly drew her sword and stabbed forward. "Sisters, take him down." Slash! The sound of swords being drawn filled the air. Qin Xiao and the other two girls were so anxious that their foreheads were full of sweat. A row of more than 10,000 shadow sect female disciples swung their swords at the same time, as if more than 10 heavenly fairies had descended to the mortal world. Rumble. The ground where Qin Feng was standing instantly exploded into rubble. These female disciples were not ordinary, and they did not hold back when they attacked. They were serious. However, Qin Feng did not attack. He quickly jumped around the empty ground. He did not want to become enemies with the Thousand Shadows sect. After all, Ling Xian and his mother were both disciples here. Senior and junior sisters, please stop fighting. Young hero Qiao's cultivation level is high. If he really fights, none of you will be his match. The three girls anxiously ran back and forth. They had seen Qin Feng's powerful skills in the Fire Beast Battalion. Perhaps only sect leader Qin Chun and vice sect leader Qing Yi could take Qin Feng down. The sound of swords rang out in the Thousand Shadows sect. How could the disciples listen to the advice of the three girls? They were aware of Qin Feng's strength. Although he had not attacked, the girls had surrounded him and attacked him for a few minutes, but they had not even touched a single hair on his head. Disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect, I'm here to see someone. I don't want to cause any trouble. If you don't stop now, don't blame me for being impolite. Although Qin Feng's current cultivation level was enough to easily dodge the girls' attacks, his patience was limited. As he dodged, a belly full of anger rose in his heart. If you want to fight, then fight. Do you think the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect are so easily scared? Qing Yu was not afraid at all. Qin Feng suddenly stopped halfway, turned around, and slashed down with his saber. Instantly, 100-meter-long golden saber, Qi, descended from the sky, and the air rumbled endlessly. The female disciples' expressions changed drastically. They hurriedly withdrew their swords and retreated. Rumble. A deep ravine appeared in the ground. This saber strike was so violent that Qin Yu and the girls were dumbfounded. However, Qin Feng had held back. Otherwise, there would be a few corpses left in the ravine. After this strike, the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect did not dare to act recklessly. Qin Yu's expression was cold. Don't think that you can do whatever you want here, just because you're powerful. When my sect leader arrives, let's see if he can still fight back. Since Qin Feng had already attacked, he planned to forcefully take Ling Xian and his mother away. He could not wait to see the Thousand Shadows sect leader. If he could defeat the sect leader, who could stop him? If that's the case, then don't talk nonsense here. Hurry up and call your sect leader out to see me. Qin Feng stood there alone with his saber, looking extremely arrogant. Qin Yu and the girls gritted their teeth in anger. They felt that this man was too arrogant. Before Qin Yu could speak, the girls suddenly looked up into the sky and exclaimed. Qin Feng casually glanced over and saw a white figure flash by. Unknowingly, a girl in white had appeared in front of Qin Yu and the girls. Sect Leader Qing Chun. Disciple greets Sect Leader Qing Chun. The girls all bowed when they saw the person who had arrived. Qing Chun acted as if she did not see them, and her gaze fell on Qin Feng as she sized him up. However, at this moment, a few more white figures landed and stood behind Qing Chun. They were Vice Sect Leader Qing Yi and the group of sect elders who had rushed over. You're the Thousand Shadows sect leader? Qin Feng had already sized up Qing Chun. This woman looked to be in her early 20s, but she gave off a mysterious and strong aura. Qing Chun did not open her mouth, but her deep voice was already heard. Who are you? What are you trying to do by barging into my Thousand Shadows sect? Qin Feng was shocked. Just the vital energy that Qing Chun exuded when she spoke was as deep as the sea. It was even stronger than the Spirit Beast sect leader Ling Zhenfeng and the others. Ling Zhenfeng had already stepped into the realm of Stage 8 vital energy. How terrifying was this woman in front of him? I'm Qiao Feng, a disciple of Ling Xian's sect. I have no ill intentions in coming to your sect today. I just want to see my two good friends, Qin Feng said. The expressions of Qing Chun and the group of elders and vice sect leaders behind her suddenly changed. Not long ago, they were discussing strategies in the main hall, and even mentioned Ling Xian's sect. That Zhao Ling Xian was acting strangely because of Ling Xian's sect, and she insisted on going to Ling Xian's sect to take a look. What are the names of the people you're looking for? Qing Chun asked calmly. Zhao Ling Xian and Qing Ying. A few exclamations came from the crowd. The elders finally understood that Ling Xian's sect really was related to Zhao Ling Xian. Qing Chen's expression was uncertain. No one knew what she was thinking. You've come to the wrong place. We don't have Zhao Ling Xian and Qing Ying here. Qin Feng stared at Qing Chen's expression. You're lying. Qing Chun was instantly enraged. I'm the leader of the Thousand Shadows sect, one of the 5 supreme masters of the Divine Continent. Why would I lie to you? I'll give you a chance to live now. Leave our sect immediately and don't ever step foot in here again. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. She did not open her mouth when she said this, but her voice was incredibly strong, like thunder falling from the sky. The Thousand Shadows sect disciples were all intimidated by Qing Chen's might. They lowered their heads and stood to the side carefully. The 3 beautiful women were confused. Zhao Ling Xian and Qing Ying were clearly disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect. Why would the leader lie? The atmosphere instantly froze. Qin Feng was suffocated by this woman's strong, vital energy. He realized that he was most likely not Qing Chen's match. However, he was unwilling to retreat. If he could not see Ling Xian and his mother, he would persevere to the last moment, even if he died here. I know that Ling Xian and Qing Ying are in your sect. I hope Leader Qing Chun can let me see them. Before Qin Feng could finish speaking, Qing Chun suddenly flew into a rage. She struck out with her palm, and it was as if everything in front of her was about to be destroyed. Did I say anything? Get out, Rumble! Strong winds and huge waves appeared out of nowhere. It was as if they were going to overturn the ground. Qin Feng immediately sensed extreme danger. However, before he could react, he was sent flying out of the Thousand Shadows sect's entrance. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. The piercing red made the 3 beautiful women anxious. Qin Feng forced himself to stand. He used the golden phoenix blade to support his body and looked at Qing Chun. The more emotional you are, the more it means that Ling Xian and Qing Ying are in the sect. I have to see them today. Hurry up and let them out. The women were stunned. None of them expected Qin Feng to be so persistent. Chapter 1438. An oppressive aura hung in the air, and none of the Thousand Shadows sect disciples dared to say anything. The 3 ladies broke out in cold sweat for Qin Feng. They knew that Qin Feng was very powerful, but they did not think that he would be able to challenge the sect leader. In their eyes, the sect leader was invincible. Huh, good, very good. I've forgotten how long it's been since anyone dared to cause trouble at the Thousand Shadows sect. Since you're tired of living, I'll grant your wish. Rumble. Before Qing Chan finished speaking, she had already arrived in front of Qin Feng. Before Qin Feng could raise his golden phoenix, she slapped him high into the air. Loud noises echoed in the air, and Qin Feng could no longer fight back. His body was like a kite with a broken string, slapped even higher into the air by Qing Chun. In the end, he became a small black dot in the eyes of the disciples. Sect leader Qing Chun, please stop. The pretty ladies could not bear to watch any longer and suddenly jumped out to plead for mercy. The Thousand Shadows sect disciples looked at her in disbelief. Qing Mei and Qing Zhu trembled in fear, but they still stepped out. Disciple Qing Mei begs the sect leader to spare young hero Qiao's life. Young hero Qiao is not a bad person. Young hero Qiao, the Thousand Shadows sect really does not have the person you're looking for. Please leave. The 3 ladies had received Qin Feng's kindness before, so how could they leave him in the lurch? However, they did not dare to speak the truth. That would be ruining the sect leader's reputation. The loud noises in the air finally stopped. A white figure flashed, and Qing Chun had already landed in front of the 3 ladies. The 3 ladies were so frightened that they immediately knelt on the ground. Rumble. The loud noise in the distance was the sound of Qin Feng falling from the sky. A huge crater appeared in the ground, and the ladies were shocked. They did not know whether Qin Feng was dead or alive. The three of you are really bold. How dare you stop me from doing something? Ching Chun reprimanded with a cold expression. His strong, vital energy almost caused the three delicate and pretty ladies to faint. Sect leader Ching Chun, please calm your anger. We are unfilial. The three of us are indebted to young hero Qiao. We cannot bear to see him die here. Qing Zhu and Qing Mei were so frightened that they could not speak. Their delicate and pretty voices trembled continuously. Qing Chun did not attack the three of them. She turned to look at where Qin Fen had fallen. She believed that even if Qin Feng didn't die from that fierce attack, he would at least be half crippled. Just as Qing Chun was about to call for someone to throw Qin Fen out of the sect, he heard soft sounds coming from the huge pit. After a while, Qin Fen climbed out of the deep pit, riddled with wounds. The air seemed to freeze, and the Thousand Shadow Sect disciples were dumbfounded by this scene. At this moment, Qin Feng's hair was disheveled and his face was covered in blood. It was so hideous that people couldn't even see his original appearance. His arms and legs seemed to have been broken, but he grabbed a golden long saber and climbed ashore with great difficulty. He supported his body and finally stood up. I'll say it again. Tell Ling Xian and Qing Ying to come out and see me. Otherwise, don't blame me for starting a massacre. At this moment, Qin Feng was incomparably weak. It was as if a gust of wind could blow him away. His voice was even softer, and his breathing was intermittent. It took him 2 tries to finish his sentence. However, the surroundings were completely silent. Qin Feng's voice clearly fell into every disciple's ears, and it was like muffled thunder exploding in their minds. The women's expressions kept changing. Even Qing Chun was shocked by Qin Feng's determination. She was even thinking about a question. What was the relationship between Ling Xian and Qing Ying and the man in front of her for him to risk his life to see them? It had to be said that Qing Chun was infected by Qin Feng's courage and determination. She did not be enemies with Qin Feng anymore. However, the Thousand Shadow Sect was in danger. Qing Ying had long been captured and wasn't in the Thousand Shadow Sect. As for Zhao Ling Xian, she was the key to the Thousand Shadow Sect survival. How could Qing Chun let Qin Feng see Zhao Ling Xian? I won't waste any more words. The person you're looking for isn't here. Since you insist on seeking death, I'll fulfill your wish. Qing Chun sighed inwardly, but in the next second, she suddenly struck out with her palm. Instantly, a strong gust of wind rose. As the women cried out in surprise, the empty ground in front of them was blasted into a pit. Rumble. The loud noise had yet to stop. Dust flew everywhere, and they couldn't even see what was happening in the distance. However, Qing Chen's expression suddenly changed. She looked around, and her gaze landed on a small black that was rapidly moving in the distance. That black dot grew larger and larger, and finally rushed to the front of the crowd. The Thousand Shadow Sect disciples were completely dumbfounded. None of them knew what this gigantic, four-wheeled, fast-moving thing was. Rumble. A loud noise suddenly exploded, and a huge cannonball flew out from the muzzle of the black dragon tank. The commotion was like an earthquake. The Thousand Shadow Sect disciples were still in a daze, unable to come to their senses. Then, they saw Qing Chun suddenly leap forward, taking the initiative to meet the cannonball. It was as if the cannonball was already close to her in the blink of an eye. Qing Chun didn't hesitate at all. She struck out with her palm, and the violent wind from her palm instantly condensed into a huge palm in front of her. The cannonball and the palm collided, and a loud noise soared into the sky. It was as if the sky was going to be torn apart. Rumble. A series of explosions rang out, and the scene shocked everyone. Even Qin Feng, who was sitting in the cockpit of the Black Dragon tank, was stunned. Ever since he entered the Divine Land, this was the first time he had met a martial artist who dared to meet the Black Dragon tank's cannonball head-on. Qing Chun used the power of her palm to block the Black Dragon tank's cannonball. However, her body also retreated a few steps. Just as she steadied herself, she clutched her chest, as if she had suffered some internal injuries. Before Qin Feng could fire a second shot, a white figure flashed through the air and landed on top of his Black Dragon tank. Brother, please stop fighting. Zhao Lingxian and Qing Ying are indeed disciples of our sect. The Thousand Shadows sect disciples cried out in surprise. They didn't think that great Elder Qing Bai, who had suddenly rushed over, would speak the truth. Qing Chun coldly glared at her, but didn't say anything else. Qin Feng excitedly put away the black dragon tank. Qing Bai felt the ground under her feet lighten, and when she landed, she looked around in disbelief. However, she found that the huge, strange thing had disappeared. "Who are you? Are you telling the truth?" Qin Feng anxiously asked Qing Bai. Qing Bai carefully looked Qin Feng up and down. Seeing that he was willing to fight to the death to see Ling Xian, she felt somewhat moved. "Don't worry, I'm Ling Xian's master and the Thousand Shadows sect's great elder, Qing Bai. Of course I'm telling the truth." Qin Feng was incredibly excited. In order to find Zhao Ling Xian, he had come from the outside world and had experienced too many life or death situations. Now that he was finally going to see Zhao Ling Xian and his mother, he couldn't describe his feelings with words. "All right, I believe you. Hurry and take me to see them." Qin Feng looked impatient. Without waiting for Qing Bai to speak, Qing Chun coldly said, "Even if Ling Xian is in our sect, she's still a disciple of our sect. How can you see her just because you want to?" Qin Feng was instantly enraged. Just as he was about to use the black dragon tank to bombard Qing Chun, Qing Bai hurriedly said, "Young hero Qiao, don't be anxious. What our sect leader said is the truth. Ling Xian is a genius disciple that our sect has focused on nurturing. She's not someone anyone can see. What's more, we don't know anything about your identity. We can't even confirm if Zhao Ling Xian really knows you. What if you're her enemy and have come to harm her? We'll have to take things slowly." With just a few words, Qing Bai managed to turn the situation around. Although Qin Feng wanted to see Zhao Ling Xian, he had no choice but to take a step back. After all, this was the Thousand Shadows sect's territory. Qin Feng's only trump card was the Black Dragon tank, and he still owed the system 1 million hedonist points. He only had 69,000 hedonist points left. If he really fell out with the Thousand Shadows sect, he wouldn't even have enough money to buy ammunition. "All right, go find Ling Xian and tell her that Xiao Feng is here." Zhao Ling Xian knew who Xiao Feng was. Qin Feng was sure that once she heard his name, she would immediately come out to see him. Seeing that she had temporarily calmed Qin Feng down, Qing Bai let out a sigh of relief. She secretly glanced at Qing Chun. Qing Chun walked up and said, "Great Elder Qing Bai, I'll go with you." Before Qin Feng could say anything, the two of them had already disappeared. The Thousand Shadows sect's elders immediately led nearly 100 female disciples to surround Qin Feng. They were deeply afraid that he would run away or rush into the Thousand Shadows sect's territory. Qin Feng was severely injured, so he didn't have the mood to force his way in. He simply sat down cross-legged and started to rest. The three pretty girls suddenly ran over. "Young Master Qiao, are you all right?" Qin Shou took out some healing pills and gave them to Qin Feng, but he didn't need them. "Thank you, Miss Qing Xiu. I'm fine." As he spoke, he changed the topic and asked, "That's right. When did Ling Xian come to the Thousand Shadows sect?" Qin Shou secretly glanced at the elders and other disciples standing around and said in a low voice, 3 months ago. The formation leading to the outside world loosened, so she was brought back. Qin Feng was now sure that the Thousand Shadows sect's Ling Xian was the Zhao Ling Xian he was looking for. What about Qing Ying? Is she all right? Thinking about how he would soon be able to see his mother, who he had never seen before, Qin Feng was so nervous that he didn't know where to put his hands. Qing Xiu pouted and said, "Great Elder Qing Ying isn't at the Thousand Shadows sect. She was kidnapped by a mysterious person 2 years ago." Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. "Are you telling the truth? My mother was kidnapped?" "Of course it's true. Why would I lie to young Master Qiao?" Qing Xiu's expression changed halfway through her sentence. "Huh, young Master Qiao, what did you say Great Elder Qing Ying was?" Qin Feng realized that he had let the cat out of the bag, but he couldn't be bothered to explain. He had thought that after so many hardships, he would finally be able to see his mother. He didn't think that things wouldn't be so simple. His thoughts raced, and one thought after another flashed through his mind. He had suddenly activated the Hedonist sovereign system 2 years ago, and his mother had disappeared from the Thousand Shadows sect 2 years ago. Was there a connection between these two? As Qin Feng was thinking, Qing Chun and Qing Bai arrived at the main palace. Qing Bai, how could you tell that brat the truth? You're infuriating me. Qing Chen didn't go to find Zhao Lingxian. She still maintained her original plan and didn't want Zhao Lingxian and Qin Feng to meet. Chapter 1439. Qing Chen's expression was cold. Qing Bai asked tentatively, "Sect leader, why don't we get someone else to receive that genius disciple from the Wind Sun Palace? It doesn't have to be Lingxian, right? It would be great if we could get someone else to receive him. Do you think I forced Qing Lingxian?" Sect leader Qing Chun suddenly became angry. "You know the situation our sect is in now. Why would the Wind Sun Palace come to our Thousand Shadows sect for no reason? That old bastard, Taoist Feng, already told me that he sent Feng Xin for a matchmaking session. Even Qing Bai didn't know about this. Now that she knew the truth, she was shocked. No wonder. I was wondering why someone from the Wind Sun Palace would be so kind as to visit our Thousand Shadows sect. Sect leader Qing Chun. Could it be that Feng Xin has his eyes on Zhao Lingxian?" Qing Chun nodded. She felt helpless about the current situation. Qing Bai immediately said, "Sect leader, if that's the case, then we can't let Lingxian come. You know how stubborn that girl is. If she finds out the truth, she'll be furious." Of course, Qing Chun had thought about this before. However, the Thousand Shadows sect's position as one of the 5 Supreme Masters was in danger. They could only rely on the marriage alliance with the Wind Sun Palace to tide them over. In front of the interests of the sect, how could she care about Zhao Lingxian's opinion? I've already promised Taoist Feng. That Feng Xin is already on his way. If nothing goes wrong, he'll be here in an hour. There's no room for discussion. Even if Lingxian doesn't show up, she'll have to show up. Qing Bai looked at Qing Chun in disbelief. The two of them, along with Qing Ying, had joined the Thousand Shadows sect together. At that time, the 3 of them were very close. They were innocent, mischievous, and kind-hearted. Now that Qing Ying had disappeared and Qing Chun had become cold-blooded after becoming the sect leader, Qing Bai felt helpless. "Sect leader, what's Xiao Feng's background? He didn't just come to find Zhao Lingxian. He also mentioned senior sister Qing Ying." Qing Bai changed the topic. Qing Chen's eyes flickered. Even she didn't know what was going on. However, the most important thing right now was to stabilize the Thousand Shadows sect's position. As for Qin Feng, Qing Chen wasn't interested. "All right, go and persuade Qing Lingxian again. Tell her to change into a new set of clothes and wait to receive the esteemed guest," Qing Chan said in a commanding tone. However, Qing Bai didn't move for a long time. She looked like she was in a difficult position. "Sect leader, Lingxian wouldn't receive the disciples of the Wind Sun Palace. I suspect that she really does know that Xiao Feng, and they might even be lovers. Otherwise, why would the Spirit Immortals react so strongly when they heard about the Spirit Immortal City? Then why did Xiao Feng disregard his life and insist on seeing Lingxian?" Qing Bai's analysis made Qing Chun suddenly realize something. She had been focused on protecting her position as one of the sect's 5 venerables and had not really cared about anything else. Based on what you've said, that's really possible. Then all the more we can't let Lingxian meet with that Xiao guy. Where's Lingxian? Take me there right now. I'll convince her myself. Qing Bai had no choice but to take Qing Chun to find Zhao Lingxian. After resting for a while, Qin Feng had stabilized the chaotic qi within his body. Seeing that Zhao Lingxian still hadn't arrived, he felt a bit worried. "Miss Qing Xiao, do you know where Lingxian lives?" Qin Feng stood up from the ground. Instantly, the surrounding Thousand Shadows sect disciples waited solemnly. Qing Xiao stood in the middle with an anxious expression. She was afraid that the 2 sides would start fighting. "Young Master Qiao, I know where Lingxian lives, but I can't take you there. Please don't make things difficult for me." Since the sect leader and grand elder said that they were going to find Lingxian, they naturally wouldn't lie to you. Qin Feng still didn't really trust Qing Chun, but he couldn't make things difficult for Qing Xiao. However, at this moment, a white figure shot over and landed in front of Qin Feng. Elder Qing Bai, where's Ling Xian? Qin Feng instantly became excited when he saw who had arrived. Qing Bai had come alone, and sect leader Qing Chun was nowhere to be seen. There was a trace of helplessness in Qing Bai's expression. When she raised her head to look at Qin Feng, she tried her best to smile naturally. Young Master Qiao, don't worry. Sect leader Qing Chun has already gone to find Ling Xian. I've come to take you to the guest room to rest. Please follow me. Qin Feng had a good impression of Qing Bai, so he believed her words. All right, Grand Elder, please lead the way. The two of them walked into the Thousand Shadows sect's inner courtyard. Along the way, Qin Feng realized that the sect was really filled with female disciples. All of them were delicate and refined. When they saw a man from the sect, they were so shy that they immediately walked away quickly. Finally, they arrived at a quiet mountaintop. There was only a wooden house around it. Qing Bai said, I'll have to trouble young Master Qiao to rest here for now. When there's news from the sect leader, I'll take you to meet Ling Xian. Qin Feng didn't suspect anything. Grand Elder Qing Bai, you've been taking care of Ling Xian all this time, right? Is she doing well here? Qing Bai could see from Qin Feng's eyes how much he doted on Ling Xian. She was even more certain that the two of them were a couple. Young Master Qiao, don't worry. I'm Ling Xian's master, and I treat her like my own child. Ling Xian's talent is outstanding, and she's the best candidate to cultivate our sect's charm technique. I wonder if young Master Qiao can let Ling Xian stay and continue cultivating our sect's secret technique after you meet her. This is for the good of her future. Qing Bai didn't know why Qing Chun was looking for Ling Xian alone, so she first probed Qin Feng's attitude. If Qin Feng was a sensible person and was willing to let Zhao Ling Xian stay in the Thousand Shadows sect to cultivate, then this matter would be easily resolved. Grand Elder Qing Bai, I can't give you a definite answer right now. It depends on Ling Xian herself. If she's willing to stay, I naturally won't stop her. Now that Qin Feng had established his own faction in the Divine Continent, this land would be one of his areas of activity in the future. He didn't really care if Zhao Ling Xian stayed in the Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Bai was pleasantly surprised. She thought Qin Feng would definitely take Zhao Ling Xian away. As such, Qin Bai's impression of Qin Feng became better and better. That's right, young Master Qiao. You're here to see senior sister Qingying? What's her relationship with you? Qin Bai suddenly asked about Qingying. At the mention of his mother, Qin Feng's calm emotions were thrown into disarray. However, he hadn't known Qin Bai for long, so it wasn't appropriate for him to reveal his relationship with his mother. We're not that close. I just want to see her. Qin Feng casually made up an excuse. Qin Bai naturally didn't believe him, but she could tell that Qin Feng didn't want to say too much, so she didn't probe further. As the two of them conversed, in Zhao Ling Xian's room, Qing Chan was trying her best to persuade her to receive the genius disciple from the Wind Sun Palace. Senior Qing Chun, don't say any more. I won't receive Feng Xin. Zhao Ling Xian's attitude was as resolute as ever. Qing Chun felt helpless. She suddenly said, Ling Xian, do you already have someone you like? Zhao Ling Xian was startled. She hadn't expected Qing Chun to suddenly ask such a question. I won't hide it from Senior. I do have someone I like, and I'll only follow him for the rest of my life. Please don't force me. Zhao Ling Xian decided to lay her cards on the table. A cold look flashed in Qing Chen's eyes as she continued to ask, What's the name of your sweetheart? Zhao Ling Xian looked at Qing Chun in confusion. She felt that there was something off about this woman today. Even if I told you, you wouldn't know. Let's not talk about it. Qing Chun became more and more suspicious that Xiao Feng, who had come to the Thousand Shadows sect, was Zhao Ling Xian's boyfriend. She immediately became anxious. If Zhao Ling Xian found out that Xiao Feng had come for her, the marriage between the Thousand Shadows sect and the Wind Sun Palace would definitely fall apart. It's fine if you don't want to talk about it. Can you tell me about the Spiritual Immortal City and the Spiritual Immortal Sect? The name of the sect is quite interesting. It's actually the same as your name. Qing Chun started to beat around the bush. At the mention of the Spiritual Immortal City, Zhao Ling Xian's eyes lit up. This was the last bit of hope in her heart. Senior, can you take me to the spiritual immortal city? My man should be there. Xiao Feng was a disciple of the spiritual immortal sect. He had risked his life to come to the Thousand Shadows sect to find Zhao Lingxian. Now that Zhao Lingxian said that her man was in the spiritual immortal city, Qing Chen completely understood. At that moment, she was very anxious. The Wind Sun Palace's disciple was about to arrive. If she didn't resolve the matter between Zhao Lingxian and Xiao Feng, the Thousand Shadows sect's current crisis will be difficult to overcome. At that moment, a disciple rushed into Zhao Lingxian's room to report that the Wind Sun Palace's disciple, Feng Xen, had already arrived. This made Qing Chun even more anxious. I understand. First, arrange for young hero Feng Xin to rest in the guest room. Tell him that I'll bring Ling Xian to meet him in a bit. The female disciple obeyed Qing Chen's order and retreated. Zhao Lingxian immediately jumped up and shouted, Senior, I said I won't appear. Why must you force me? Qing Chun suppressed his temper and said, Lingxian, you've already been at the Thousand Shadows sect for 3 months. You can be considered half a disciple of our sect. You know very well the Thousand Shadows sect's current situation. It could be replaced by a new sect at any time. How about I ask you to meet Feng Xin for the Thousand Shadows sect? Qing Chun had no way out. As the sect leader of the Thousand Shadows sect, one of the 5 supremes, he had to ask Zhao Lingxian for help. Zhao Lingxian couldn't bear to do this, but when she thought of Qin Feng, she immediately rejected the idea. If it was anything else, Zhao Lingxian, would definitely help. However, this is not negotiable. If I meet Feng Xin, how can I face my man? If you agree to meet him, I'll also agree to take you to Spirit Immortal City after this. Qing Chun had no other choice but to throw out bait to confuse Zhao Lingxian. This condition was too tempting to Zhao Lingxian, causing her to hesitate. Seeing this, Qing Chun hurriedly continued to persuade her. Lingxian, I hope you can understand our difficulties. We don't want to force you to do something you don't like, but the Thousand Shadows sect is in danger. We have no other choice. Moreover, I'm only asking you to meet Feng Xin for a few days. At most, you'll take him on a tour of the Thousand Shadows sect. Nothing else will happen. As long as you help the Thousand Shadows sect build a good relationship with the Wind Sun Palace, I'll keep my word and personally take you to Spirit Immortal City. Chapter 1440. Great Elder Qing Bai, why isn't Lingxian here yet? Qin Feng, who was waiting outside the small wooden hut at the top of the mountain, was a little anxious. Qing Bai was even more anxious than Qin Feng. She didn't know whether sect leader Qing Chun would bring Zhao Lingxian here or not. If Qing Chun really didn't bring Zhao Lingxian here and sent her to receive the disciples of the Wind Sun Palace, Qin Feng would definitely make a scene when he found out. Young hero Qiao, why don't you go and do your own things first? Qing Bai looked helpless. Qin Feng immediately jumped up from the ground. Elder, what do you mean? Is that old woman Qing Chun not keeping her promise? What does she want? Qing Bai didn't know how to explain. Just as she was feeling anxious, a white figure floated over. Qin Feng immediately took out his golden phoenix and was about to attack. Young hero Qiao, don't be anxious. Listen to me first, Qing Chun said calmly. However, Qin Feng's sword had already landed. Qing Chun stood at the edge of the mountain without dodging. She waved her long sleeves lightly, and the 100-meter-long golden sword chi instantly dissipated. Rumble. It was as if thunder had exploded in the air above the valley. Many rocks were shattered and rolled down the mountain. Qing Chun did not care at all. He strode over to Qin Feng and said, You're too impatient. If it weren't for the fact that you're a spirit immortal friend, I would have killed you long ago. Qing Chun was filled with anger, but Qin Feng was even angrier than her. Seeing that the two of them were about to fight again, Qing Bai hurriedly leaped and landed between them. Young hero Qiao, don't be agitated. Sect leader, how is Lingxian? Qing Bai secretly gave Qing Chun a look. Qing Chun didn't say anything else. She turned and walked back to the edge of the mountain. She looked down at the entire Thousand Shadows sect. Come take a look, and you'll know. Qin Feng and Qing Bai's figures flashed, and they arrived at the edge of the mountain. The closest place was a sacred cultivation ground of the Thousand Shadows sect. It was a bamboo forest surrounded by dense spiritual qi and beautiful scenery. It was an excellent place for a date. However, the Thousand Shadows sect only had female disciples, so some of the functions of the bamboo forest were wasted. At that moment, a man and a woman were walking in the bamboo forest. The man wore a black robe and was tall and handsome. The woman was dressed in a white gown and wore a white veil that covered half of her face. However, Qin Feng only needed to glance at the woman's large eyes to immediately recognize her. Junior sister Ling Xian, it's my honor to be able to stroll in this bamboo forest with you. On the way, the black-clothed man kept sneaking glances at Zhao Ling Xian's beauty and perfect figure. Zhao Ling Xian naturally noticed and felt disgusted. However, when she thought about how she could go to Spirit Immortal City to find Qin Feng after receiving Feng Xian, she could only endure it. As they walked, Zhao Ling Xian lowered her head and didn't say anything. Her mind was filled with images of Qin Feng. No matter how much of a genius Feng Xian was, or how handsome and tall he was nothing in Zhao Ling Xian's eyes. Junior sister Ling Xian, why haven't you said anything? Are you tired of walking? Why don't we sit down and rest? Feng Xian had already looked around and confirmed that there was no one else nearby. Without waiting for Zhao Ling Xian to agree, he took off his clothes and spread them on the ground. He walked over and pulled Zhao Ling Xian to sit down. What are you doing? Don't come close to me, I'm not tired. Zhao Ling Xian was already prepared. Before the other party came close, she had already retreated a few steps, maintaining a distance of 3 meters between her and Feng Xian. A cold look flashed in Feng Xian's eyes. He was already angry at Zhao Ling Xian's repeated rejections. Now that the Thousand Shadows sect had lost its power and the old sect leader and great elder Qing Ying were missing, it would be difficult for them to maintain their position as one of the 5 supreme masters of the Divine Land. At a time like this, Feng Xian, representing the Wind Sun Palace, was giving the Thousand Shadows sect face. The reason why Feng Xian had come this time was because he had taken a fancy to Zhao Ling Xian's beauty the last time he had come to the Thousand Shadows sect for a martial arts exchange. This time, he had specially come to cultivate a relationship with Zhao Ling Xian, but he hadn't expected Zhao Ling Xian's attitude to be like this. Ling Xian, my Wind Sun Palace and the Thousand Shadows sect have been allies for over 10 years. The disciples of our sects often exchange martial arts in private and learn from each other. Now, you're guarding against me like you're guarding against an enemy. This is simply unacceptable. Feng Xian's expression became serious. Zhao Ling Xian didn't back down. Young hero Feng Xian, my sect leader only asked me to show you around. As for other matters, you should find other disciples. Feng Xian's expression became increasingly unsightly. He was the Wind Sun Palace's genius eldest disciple. In the entire Divine Land, there were countless female disciples who begged to be slept with by him. Zhao Ling Xian had only joined the Thousand Shadows sect for 3 months, yet she was putting on such airs. Junior sister Ling Xian, I won't hide it from you. A month ago, I came to your sect for a martial arts exchange. At that time, I fell in love with you at first sight. This time, I've come again because I want to be together with junior sister Ling Xian. Feng Xian had lost his patience and decided to get straight to the point. Zhao Ling Xian was so frightened that she immediately retreated 3 steps. Now, she maintained a distance of 5 meters between herself and Feng Xian. Don't let your imagination run wild. I already have someone I like. I can't be with you. Zhao Ling Xian's attitude was resolute. Feng Xian's expression immediately changed. His pretense of scholarly elegance disappeared as he coldly glared at her and yelled, Clear spirit, Xian. I'm the genius eldest disciple of the Wind Sun Palace. In the future, I will inherit the position of sect leader and lead the hundreds of disciples of the Wind Sun Palace. You like other men, but not me? Aren't you being too arrogant? Zhao Ling Xian was also a bit angry. If it wasn't for sect leader Qing Chun threatening and enticing her, she wouldn't even bother to see Feng Xian. Since we both have issues with each other, let's stop here. You can go and walk around by yourself." Zhao Lingxian turned to leave, but after taking 2 steps, she was so scared that she quickly retreated. She didn't know when, but Feng Xian had appeared in front of her. "Huh, since you said it like this, I won't pretend to be noble. There's only you and me in Little Bamboo Forest, and you're at my mercy." Seeing Feng Xian walk towards her with an evil smile on his face, Zhao Lingxian was so worried that she was covered in sweat. "Didon, come over. This is the Thousand Shadows sect. Sect leader Qing Chun might deal with you." Feng Xian couldn't stop laughing. "Sect leader Qing Chun will deal with me? I'm not afraid to tell you that she gave me the power to do whatever I wanted to you." Zhao Lingxian's expression changed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with despair and fear. She realized that she had become Qing Chen's tool to stabilize the Thousand Shadows sect. This old woman was simply too vicious. "You don't blame me. Otherwise, I'll die in front of you." Zhao Lingxian felt helpless as tears welled up in her eyes. Feng Xian didn't stop walking. He lightly smiled and said, "Who do you think I am? Do you think it's so easy for you to die in front of me? I think you should just obediently obey me." Since Feng Xian had revealed his fox's tail, he didn't waste any more words. He suddenly turned into a black blur and shot towards Zhao Lingxian. He was as fast as lightning, and Zhao Lingxian had no way of dodging. She instinctively yelled out Qin Feng's name at the most critical moment. However, at this moment, an earth-shattering roar descended from the sky, causing all of the bamboo in the forest to fall to the ground. Roar, roar. It wasn't Qin Feng who had fallen. Instead, it was a massive, fiery red beast. Zhao Lingxian was scared to tears by the giant winged fire demon. Feng Xian stood rooted to the ground, his legs uncontrollably trembling. Roar, roar. The giant winged fire demon wasn't in a hurry to attack Feng Xian. It half-crouched and moved its head closer to Zhao Lingxian. Its massive head rubbed against the bottom of Zhao Lingxian's feet, as if it wanted to curry favor with her. Zhao Lingxian stopped crying. She realized that this large demon beast didn't have any ill intentions towards her. It seemed to treat her as its master. "I am fine. Help me deal with that bad guy." Zhao Lingxian carefully spoke to the giant winged fire demon. She had almost been bullied by Feng Xian just then. At this moment, she wanted to kill this bastard. After the giant winged fire demon confirmed that Zhao Lingxian was fine, it suddenly stood up. It glared at Feng Xian with its massive, blood-red eyes, causing the latter to continuously retreat. "Why, you bastard? Hurry up and piss off." Feng Xian pulled out the sword at his waist and wildly swung it in front of him. Sword cries rang out in the air. Feng Xian was an expert at level 7 of True Qi, so the instant his sword chi landed, it left a trail of sword marks. However, the giant winged fire demon completely ignored his sword attacks. Its massive body forcibly withstood the concentrated sword light, and its foot descended towards him. Rumble. The instant the giant palm landed, the entire bamboo forest violently swayed. Feng Xian did his best to escape, but was still sent flying by the aftershocks. His body swayed in the air like a kite with a broken string. Just as he floated halfway, the giant winged fire demon swung its palm. Instantly, the air around him completely exploded, and the violent air currents all crashed into Feng Xian's body. Under the giant winged fire demon's palm, his body was as weak as an ant, and it instantly exploded into pieces of flesh and blood. Ah! Zhao Lingxian was so frightened by this bloody scene that she screamed. The giant winged fire demon immediately rushed back and knelt in front of her as if nothing had happened. It then started to rub its head against the soles of her feet. Zhao Lingxian was dumbfounded. She couldn't understand where this large monster had come from. Qing Chun and Qing Bai, who were standing on the opposite mountain peak, were also dumbfounded. The genius disciple of the Wind Sun Palace had actually died in the Thousand Shadows sect. Crap, Feng Xian is dead? The Wind Sun Palace will definitely fight to the death with our Thousand Shadows sect. Qing Bai's face was full of panic. as if she was talking to herself. Qing Chun was so angry that his body trembled. He suddenly swung his palm towards Qin Feng. "You bastard, you caused the death of our entire Thousand Shadows sect." Rumble. Qing Chun seemed to have gone mad. Under his palm, Qin Feng was unable to retaliate at all. He was instantly sent flying and smashed into the wooden house on the mountain peak. Just as Qin Feng landed, Qing Chen's figure appeared. A pink light suddenly shot out from the sleeve of his white robe. A flying sword fell to the ground like a meteor, piercing towards Qin Feng's heart. Rumble. There was a huge explosion, but the sword was unable to kill Qin Feng. At some point, the giant winged fire demon had landed on the mountain peak. Its tall and sturdy body was like a towering tree, and the instant it landed, it seemed as if the mountain peak would collapse. Roar, roar. Chapter 1441. The battle was extremely intense right from start. Zhao Lingxian looked around in a daze and found that the massive demon beast had disappeared. She quickly heard a loud sound coming from the opposite mountain peak. An indescribable feeling welled up in her heart. She had to go to the top of the mountain to take a look. Qin Feng was severely injured by Qing Chen's palm strike. He lay in the rubble and couldn't even get up. The giant winged fire demon stood guard dozens of meters in front of him. Even though sword chi continuously fell from the sky, it didn't retreat at all. Because of Feng Xian's death, Qing Chun had completely lost her rationality. Moreover, Feng Xian had been killed by this gigantic winged fire demon. At this moment, she did not hold back at all. The violent sword chi pressured Qin Feng so much that he could not breathe. The giant winged fire demon was a fire-type rank 6 demon beast. It had the power of a stage 8 vital energy realm martial artist. Moreover, as a demon beast, its defense was astonishing. Back in the Fire Beast Battalion, even Yang Gang, who had stage 8 vital energy realm martial artist, didn't dare to fight the fire demon alone. It was only after Qin Feng heavily injured the fire demon that Yang Gang dared to attack. But now, under Qing Chen's violent sword chi, the fire demon roared continuously. Dozens of sword wounds appeared on its tough skin, and blood instantly stained the entire mountain peak. It was as if a waterfall had fallen 3,000 feet to the bottom of the mountain. Qin Feng was furious, but he didn't even have the strength to activate the Black Dragon tank. Qingbai couldn't bear to watch anymore. She suddenly slapped the air, and a huge palm print appeared above the fire demon's head, blocking the surging sword chi. "Qingbai, what are you doing?" Qing Chun was instantly furious, but she was still waving the spiritual sword in her hand. Qingbai's forehead was covered in sweat. Her cultivation level was lower than Qing Chen's, so it was very difficult for her to block Qing Chen's sword chi. Qing Chun stopped fighting. This isn't young hero Qiao's fault. That Feng Xian is a beast in human form. He wanted to take advantage of Ling Xian in the bamboo forest. Even if young hero Qiao didn't send this fire demon beast, I would have stopped him. Qing Chen glared and stopped her sword. She looked at Qingbai. "What if I said that Feng Xian did this because I instructed him to? Are you going to kill me too?" Qingbai's expression changed drastically. She really did not expect that Qing Chun would instruct Feng Xian to use forceful methods. She realized that Qing Chun had really changed. Ever since he became the sect leader, he had completely lost his kindness. If that's the case, then I'll demand an explanation for my disciple. Qingbai's voice suddenly rose, and her white robe fluttered even though there was no wind. Qing Chun smiled coldly and said, "Demand an explanation. I am the sect leader of the Thousand Shadows sect. My words are the imperial edict. Qing Chun, you've changed. You're no longer the good sister Qing Ying and I knew. Wake up." Qingbai's expression was cold. "Ha! You want me to wake up? I think you're the one who should wake up. Look at the Thousand Shadows sect now. It's about to be kicked out of the top 5 supremes. What else can I do? I'm doing this for the sake of the Thousand Shadows sect's development. The Thousand Shadows sect has been developing for hundreds of years, growing stronger by the day. If it were to be destroyed in my hands, I would not be satisfied even if I died." There was no conclusion to their argument. They were no longer the Qing, Chun, and Qing Bai that they were when they first entered the Thousand Shadows sect. The two women's goals and thoughts were already different. It was hard to say who was right and who was wrong, but they could no longer walk the same path. Qing Bai, hurry and leave. Otherwise, don't blame me for not caring about our sisterhood. Qing Chen's patience had run out, and a murderous aura suddenly appeared around her. Qing Bai's last bit of hope turned into complete despair. She suddenly drew her sword and stabbed toward the sky. Young hero Qiao, hurry and leave, boom. Instantly, sword light shot out in all directions from the top of the mountain, and massive explosions sounded like muffled thunder. The giant winged fire demon had lost a lot of blood, and its roars became weaker. Qin Feng hurriedly put it back into the system's immortal island to recover. By now, Qin Feng had recovered some strength. He wanted to take advantage of the battle between Qing Bai and Qing Chun to leave with Zhao Lingxian. However, he found that Qing Bai couldn't hold on for much longer. Qing Chun, Lingxian has caught up. Let her and young hero Qiao go. Qing Bai coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood, but continued to fight. Qing Chun had already seen Zhao Lingxian flying up from the bottom of the cliff. She anxiously shouted, "Qiao, it's not too late for you to leave now. If Lingxian comes up and sees you, I promise to kill both of you." At this moment, Qing Chun was in a frenzied state. Qing Bai hurriedly shouted, "Young hero Qiao, leave first. Otherwise, you'll never have the chance to take Lingxian away." Qin Feng was so angry that his face was contorted. He wanted to stab Qing Chun to death with his spear. However, after fighting with this woman, Qin Feng knew how powerful she was. This was the first time Qin Feng had encountered such an unfathomable opponent after coming to the Divine Land. Qing Chen's aura was as strong as the sea, and it seemed endless. Qin Feng even realized that he couldn't defeat her even if he used the Black Dragon tank. Earlier, Qing Chun had blocked the Black Dragon tank's cannon with one palm. The battle became more and more intense. Qing Bai's speed and strength were clearly weakening, and her face was as pale as a sheet of paper. It was obvious that she couldn't hold on any longer. Qin Feng had no choice but to grit his teeth and leave. A pink light flashed continuously in the sky, and his loud voice reverberated through the mountain. Lingxian, Qiao Feng, have come to the Thousand Shadows sect with no results today. Once I quickly break through, I'll definitely take you away from this place. Whoosh! Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, a beautiful figure landed on the mountaintop. Zhao Lingxian raised her head and looked at the pink light flashing in the sky. Tears streamed down her face as she shouted anxiously, "Qin Feng, I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you forever." Zhao Lingxian called out Qin Feng's real name. She didn't know that Qin Feng had deliberately changed his identity to Qiao Feng after coming to the Divine Land. The pink light in the sky suddenly paused for a moment, then disappeared into the distance. This was because Qin Feng knew that if he really rushed back to see Zhao Lingxian, that old woman, Qing Chun, would definitely kill them both. After Qin Feng left, the battle on the mountaintop quickly calmed down. Qing Bai clutched her chest and panted heavily. She coughed up blood from time to time. Qing Chen's white robes were torn a few times, but there didn't seem to be any injuries on her body. "Master, are you all right?" Zhao Lingxian finally regained her senses and immediately went up to support Qing Bai. "Master, did someone come looking for me just now?" Qing Bai's voice was weak. "A man called Qiao Feng came looking for you. He vowed to see you even if it cost him his life. He even said he came from the Spirit Immortal City." Now that things had come to this, Qing Bai no longer hid anything from Zhao Lingxian. She had already seen through Qing Chen's selfishness. Qing Chun was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She waved her hand, and Zhao Lingxian immediately fell into her hands. "Qing Chun, what are you doing?" Qing Bai anxiously pulled out her sword and tried to stab her. Chapter 1442. Qing Chen's power was beyond Qin Feng's imagination. After he left the Thousand Shadows sect, he found a deserted place to recuperate. With the help of elixirs, he recovered for 3 days and 3 nights. However, His injuries did not improve much. Qin Fan had been on the Immortal Island for the past 3 days. The spiritual energy here was incomparably abundant, which allowed his realm to stabilize a little. The giant winged fire demon's recovery speed was much faster than Qin Fang's. After 3 days, it was as if nothing had happened. This time, Qin Fan's main purpose in coming to the Divine Great Land was to find Zhao Lingxian and his mother, Qing Ying. Now that he had left, Qin Fan felt even more powerless. He found out that his mother had been taken away by a mysterious person 2 years ago, and although he had seen Zhao Lingxian, he had no way of taking her away. Qin Fan realized the importance of his cultivation level. At this moment, he was incredibly eager to break through to the next cultivation level as soon as possible so that he could kill Qin Chun and take Zhao Lingxian away. However, he still owed the system 1 million Hedonist points, so it wasn't realistic for him to use the system to quickly break through. If he wanted to break through by cultivating normally, even on the Immortal Island with abundant spiritual qi, it wouldn't be something that could be done in a day or two. After some thought, Qin Fan decided to return to Spirit Immortal City. He had been away for a while now, so it was time for him to visit Teacher Qiao and the others. He also had to complete the system's quest to build a technocracy. Tianyu City was quite a distance away from Spirit Immortal City. Even if a sacred sect disciple rode a horse day and night, it would still take a week. Qin Fan immediately took out the Hummingbird. It was his first time piloting this star technology fighter. Qin Fan discovered that the Hummingbird mech was different from the Black Dragon mech. The latter was an aircraft that focused on combat, while the Hummingbird mech focused on speed and was an excellent escape weapon. Qin Fan piloted the Hummingbird fighter all the way back to Spirit Immortal City in just 1 day and 1 night. He looked down at the land that belonged to him from high up in the sky, and his heart was finally a little comforted. Sect leader Xiao, an unknown object has been spotted in the sky. It's highly possible that it's an enemy invasion. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. As the sun was setting, the guards at the entrance of Spirit Immortal City noticed the Hummingbird fighter jet in the sky. Xiaoshi immediately looked up. Zhang Kuku and the other girls also looked up at the azure sky. Ever since they arrived at Spirit Immortal City, they had been guarding the entrance, waiting for Qin Fan to return. What is that? He can actually fly in the sky? Many disciples from other sects who had surrendered and joined the Immortal Souls sect were dumbfounded. It was obvious that this was the first time they had seen such an opportunity. Master Qiao had been in the outside world for 20 years, so he had seen airplanes before. However, seeing a plane in the Divine Great Land shocked him so much that his eyeballs almost popped out. Could it be a flying sword? This flying sword speed is so fast. It doesn't look like a flying sword. That guy's body is much bigger than a flying sword. Could it be a legendary flying treasure? The crowd was in a flurry of discussion, forgetting for a moment whether the UFO was an enemy or not. The group of women suddenly burst into an uproar. Everyone was shocked by the women's behavior. Gray machine, it's a big gray machine that only exists in the secular world of China. Zhang Kuku was so excited that she almost fainted. Huayan, Rin Xiaoyao, Xiao Shishir, and Shaoli were all excited. They had been in the Divine Great Land for several days, and they felt as if they had traveled to ancient times. Now that they saw a plane in the sky, they felt very familiar. Why is there a plane here? Is Qin Fan back? Huayan suddenly shouted. The women immediately went crazy, and they all shouted at the fighter plane in the sky. Qin Fan flew high in the sky, so he did not hear the women's shouts. He was in a good mood when he returned to his own city. He deliberately flew the Hummingbird fighter plane around the entire Immortal Soul City before he slowly landed at the entrance. As soon as he got off the fighter plane, a black mass of people rushed over. The people who rushed at the front were the disciples of various sacred sects. They still did not know whether the person in the fighter plane was a friend or a foe. However, when the crowd approached, the disciples immediately put away their weapons. The disciples of the Immortal Souls sect greet Elder Qiao. Sect leader Qiao Shi, little Elder Qiao Feng, is back. Qin Feng's real identity in the Immortal Soul sect was only known by the important figures of the Qiao family's spiritual Beastmaster clan. As for these disciples, they only thought that Qin Feng was the little elder of the Immortal Souls sect. Xiao Shi had already rushed over. When he saw that the person was really Qin Feng, he was so excited that his body trembled. "Xiao Feng, you're finally back. Did you go to the Thousand Shadows sect?" Xiao Shi asked with concern. In front of so many disciples, Qin Feng would not reveal his real relationship with Xiao Gong. He said respectfully, "Sect leader Xiao, I just came back from the Thousand Shadows sect. However, the situation didn't go well. Let's find a place with fewer people and talk in detail." Qin Feng was about to bring Xiao Gong to the main city when he suddenly stopped. He looked at the row of women standing at the side, and his eyes fell to the ground. "Cuckoo. Huayan, Xiao Yao, Xiao Li, sure, you guys? I'm not dreaming, am I?" The 5 women stood like statues at the top of the mountain. They did not dare to move, afraid that if they moved, they would suddenly wake up from this dream. Qin Feng also suspected that he was hallucinating because he missed them too much. However, after rubbing his eyes a few times, he realized that the scene in front of him had not changed at all. Zhang Cuckoo was the first to return to her senses. She realized that this was not a dream. She had gone through so much with her sisters to find the divine land from the outside world. Now, she was finally reunited with Big Brother Qin Feng. Sob, Big Brother Qin Feng, I can finally see you. Cuckoo feels so wronged. Zhang Cuckoo rushed into Qin Feng's arms. When the softness and fragrance rippled in his arms, Qin Feng was even more certain that this was not a dream. Sob, Qin Feng, is it really you? I miss you so much. Qin Feng, the 8 of us came to the divine land to look for you. After we found out that there's a spirit immortal city here, we came looking for you. We didn't expect that you were the one who built this city. I'm even reunited with my father and family here." Xiao Shi recounted their journey to the divine land. Xiao Li stood obediently by Qin Feng's side. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she looked at Qin Feng's side profile. Although Qin Feng appeared in front of them with Xiao Feng's appearance, the women knew his real identity. When they finally saw Qin Feng, they instantly cried like little children. The disciples of the sects were dumbfounded. Xiao Shi quickly ordered them to leave. Soon, only Qin Feng and the others were left on the mountain peak. Qin Feng no longer had any scruples and changed back to his original appearance. After listening to Xiao Shi's complaints, Qin Feng had a general understanding of the women's situation. His expression suddenly changed. He said to Zhang Cuckoo, who was in his arms, "Huh? Cuckoo, didn't the 8 of you come together? Why are there only 5 of you?" The 5 excited women suddenly became nervous when they saw Qin Feng. Xiao Shi quickly said, "This is bad. I'm afraid Ruo and the others are in trouble." Qin Feng was confused, but when he realized that Su Ruo was also here, he immediately became nervous. Sure, speak clearly. What happened to Ruo? Who else is with Ruo? Xiao Shi's jade-like hands tightly gripped the corner of her clothes. She said anxiously, "I just came to the Spirit Immortal City from Fire Beacon City 5 days ago. We found out that you went to Fire Beacon City. So Ruo, Chioya, and Qianhuan Child immediately rushed back to Fire Beacon City to see you again. But now that you're back, there's still no news from them. Could it be?" Xiao Shi began to cry as she spoke. She didn't dare to think any further. Zhang Cuckoo and the others were also worried. They had been in the Divine Great Land for some time and knew the dangers here. Back then, they were almost killed by Xianzhong from the Profound Ice Sect when they rushed to Spirit Immortal City from Fire Beacon City. What if something really happened to Ruo and the others? After learning the situation, Qin Feng's palms were covered in a layer of cold sweat. Compared to these women, he knew the dangers of the Divine Great Land better. There were no rules or systems to speak of here. Everything depended on one's fists. Furthermore, the Holy Gate disciples here all started cultivating from the true Qi stage. Su Ruo and the other 2 women's realms were at the lowest level of cannon fodder here. Furthermore, They were all beautiful celestial immortals, so the odds were against them. No, I have to go to Fire Beacon City now. Qin Feng originally planned to stay for a few more days to recuperate while building the technocracy. But his plans couldn't keep up with the changes. After knowing that the three women went to Fire Beacon City to find him, Qin Feng couldn't stay any longer. Big brother Qin Feng, bring Kuku with you. Zhang Kuku hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly and didn't want to let go. Hua Yin, Rin Xiao Yao, Xiao Li, and Xiao Shi surrounded him. They also wanted to go with Qin Feng to find the three women. Qin Feng couldn't bring them. They were experts in China's secular world, but their cultivation levels were too low in the divine Great Land. It would affect the efficiency of Qin Feng's search. Master, you've made too many enemies in the divine Great Land. I suggest you set up a formation passage in the Spirit Immortal Gate before you leave. Little Pig's voice suddenly sounded. Qin Feng didn't quite understand it. What formation passage? It's the formation that leads to the Immortal Island. This formation doesn't just go through Master's mind. It can also be set up in the outside world. As long as you join the Hero Alliance, you can enter and exit the Immortal Island through the formation. Little Pig explained. Qin Feng was astonished. The function of this formation was really amazing. With it, Zhang Kuku and the others could enter and exit the Immortal Island at will. Just as Little Pig said, although Qin Feng hadn't been in the divine Great Land for long, he had made too many enemies. If these enemies joined forces and besieged the Spirit Immortal City, the Qiao family and the Beast Clan army alone wouldn't be able to defend the city. If he set up a formation passage to the Immortal Island in the Spirit Immortal Gate, even if the Spirit Immortal City was attacked, the women and the Qiao family could hide on the Immortal Island and keep their lives. Qin Feng would take back the Spirit Immortal City after that. Time was of the essence, so Qin Feng immediately brought everyone back to the Spirit Immortal Gate. He set up a formation passage to the Immortal Island in a valley in the deepest part of the sect. According to Little Pig, no one could break this formation. Only those who joined the Hero Alliance could enter and exit it. Little Pig, how many formation passages can you set up in total? Qin Feng suddenly asked. Master, don't think too much. There are only 3, and now there's only 1 left. Little Pig could read Qin Feng's mind. Chapter 1443. As Qin Feng busied himself, the array formation in the Celestial Spirit's Gate was set up. He also added the Qiao family into the Heroes Alliance. Instantly, the names of over 100 new members appeared on the Hero leaderboard. Everyone was stunned by the miraculous Hero Alliance. Qin Feng realized that the Hero Alliance's communication function and the Time-Space Gate's function had yet to be restored. Right now, everyone could only see the Hero leaderboard in their minds, but they couldn't communicate with each other. Big brother Qin Feng, what were you busy with just now? Zhang Kuku curiously looked at the ground under her feet. Qin Feng had thrown a lot of spirit stones and formation flags here, but she couldn't see anything now. Qin Feng patted Zhang Kuku's head and said to everyone, I've set up an array here. It can lead you to a mysterious realm. The realm is rich with spiritual energy. You can go to the Immortal Island to cultivate. I'll rush to Fire Beacon City tonight. I don't know how long it'll take me to come back. If you encounter any life-threatening danger while I'm away, remember to hide on the Immortal Island immediately through this formation, because outsiders can't enter this formation. Everyone was amazed by Qin Feng's words. Zhang Kuku and the girls had only seen the teleportation formation that led to the Divine Land from the outside world. They didn't expect Qin Feng to set up such a powerful formation. Xiao Shi and the others had lived in the Divine Land for more than 20 years. They had heard of teleportation formations in Fire Beacon City when doing missions, but they had never experienced it themselves. Everyone looked at Qin Feng with curiosity and anticipation. Qin Feng was amused by their silly expressions and personally led them to the Immortal Island. The scene in front of them changed drastically. They were surrounded by a vast plain with immortal energy lingering around the peak of the mountain. In the open space, there was a huge tree that reached the sky. The tree was filled with fiery red fruits. Under the tree, There were thousands of small fire beasts rolling and playing. The gigantic winged fire demon was flying high in the sky, and the few heroes were sitting by the side, cultivating. Everyone was stunned by the scene in front of them. They couldn't come back to their senses for a moment. It felt like a dream. Hua Xiaojun was also stunned when she saw Qin Fen bringing a group of people. She became inexplicably nervous when she saw Zhang Kuku and the other beauties. Young Master Qiao, who are these people? Hua Xiaojun came up and held Qin Fen's arm. She looked like she was afraid that Qin Fen would abandon her. The other women were also sizing up Hua Xiaojun, attracted by the immortal aura on this woman. Even without Qin Feng's introduction, Zhang Kuku and the others could tell that this woman was Qin Feng's new sister in the Divine Land. Don't be afraid, little Zhan. These are all sisters from the outside world. You should spend more time with them in the future to familiarize yourself with them. Qin Fen comforted Hua Xiaojun and introduced her to the girls. This is Hua Xiaojun, a native of China. When I first arrived here, I met Xiaojun. Thanks to her help, I survived until now. Qin Feng had purposely displayed Hua Xiaojun's importance so that Zhang Kuku and the other women would accept her. To be honest, Zhang Kuku and the rest did not have any ill intentions towards Hua Xiaojun. Ah, so it's big sister Xiaojun. Thank you for taking care of Qin Feng all this time. From now on, we'll be good sisters. We'll take care of each other. Xiao Shishir stepped forward and grabbed Hua Xiaojun's hand. Hua Xiaojun was stunned and couldn't come back to her senses. She had thought about it a long time ago. If she could leave Shenzhou with young Master Qiao and go to the outside world, what would happen when she met young Master Qiao's woman in the outside world? Hua Xiaojun had thought of no less than 100 scenarios, but she never thought this would happen. Qin Feng's women were too kind. They didn't reject her at all and accepted her so easily. I am just young Master Qiao's lowly servant. Ladies, please don't be so courteous with me. Hua Xiaojun immediately became nervous. Her stubborn mindset was acting up again. When the women saw Hua Xiaojun's worried expression, they couldn't be forceful with her. They surrounded her and whispered to her in an attempt to build a good relationship with her. When Qin Fen saw this peaceful scene, he was very happy. He brought the Qiao clan around the Immortal Island and introduced the situation there. He also warned everyone not to rashly explore the mysterious area shrouded in immortal fog. When Qin Fen returned from his stroll, he discovered that Hua Xiaojun and the other women had already become one. She was no longer as cautious and reserved as before. She was chatting and laughing with the women as if they were close sisters. Everyone, stay on the Immortal Island and cultivate. I'll go to Fire Beacon City to find Ruoro and the others. Qin Fen couldn't stay any longer after settling the women and the matters in Spirit Immortal City. His heart was filled with worry for the three women. The women had just reunited with Qin Fen and had to part ways again. They were very reluctant, but they knew the situation was urgent, so no one asked Qin Fen to stay. Everyone sent Qin Fen to the exit of the formation. Zhang Kuku suddenly yelled, "That's right, big brother Qin Fen. If you meet the people from the mysterious ice sect, you must teach them a lesson. Especially that Xinzhong guy, he's such a bastard." Qin Fen had a conflict with the mysterious ice sect in the outside world. He killed a few disciples of the mysterious ice sect after entering the Divine Continent, but he didn't expect them to provoke Zhang Kuku and the others. "Kuku, speak clearly." "What happened?" Qin Fen asked with concern. Zhang Kuku immediately complained. "When we first came to the Divine Continent, we were teleported to Fire Beacon City. Since we knew nothing about this place, we went to gather information together. That Xinzhong from the mysterious ice sect was up to no good. He pretended to invite us to his room to inform us. But halfway through, he became lustful and wanted to take us for himself. That guy was at the 5th level of true Qi, and none of the sisters could beat him. Just as the sisters were about to be forced to commit suicide, I showed my prowess and killed 2 of the profound ice sect's disciples, severely injuring Xian, but he escaped in the end." Zhang Kuku was filled with anger when she talked about the incident. If it wasn't for the boundless energy in her body, the 8 of them would have committed suicide. Qin Fen's eyes were bloodshot. He looked at Xiao Sure and asked, Sure, is what Cuckoo said true? Zhang Cuckoo pouted and complained, Brother Qin Fun, why would I joke about this? You don't believe me? It's true, Xiao Sure said. Qin Feng immediately hugged Zhang Cuckoo in his arms and patted her head dotingly. All right, it's all thanks to Cuckoo this time. I'll remember this great merit for you. Once I'm done with my work, I'll get you whatever reward you want. As for the mysterious ice sect, it will be erased from the divine continent from tonight onwards. Qin Fen's tone left no room for doubt. The girls knew that he was going to kill his way to the mysterious ice sect in the middle of the night. However, they didn't know Qin Fen's current realm, especially after they entered the divine continent. They realized that the Holy Gate's disciples here were all extraordinary. Although Qin Fen was the strongest martial artist in the outside world, how could he do the same here? Qin Fen, we're fine. Don't go to the mysterious ice sect. Huayan suddenly ran over and pulled Qin Fen's arm. Rin Xiao Yao also said worriedly, the disciples here are all very powerful. It's best if we don't cause any trouble. Once we find Ruo Ro and Ling Xian, we'll think of a way to return. Xiao Li and Xiao Sure secretly nodded, agreeing with Rin Xiao Yao's words. Under such circumstances, Zhang Cuckoo stopped fooling around. She raised her head and said, Big brother Qin Fen, forget it. I don't want to take revenge anymore. Hurry up and find Ruo Ro and the others. Then bring us back. Qin Fen understood the girl's thoughts. He looked at them one by one and said with determination, Ruo Ro, Qiuya, Qian Huan, and Ling Xian, my mother, and the mysterious ice sect. Don't worry about me. I've already broken through to stage 7 true Qi in the divine continent. There aren't many people in this world who can suppress me. How dare the mysterious ice sect bully my women? If I don't teach them a lesson, how am I supposed to face all of you? Qin Fen's words were so domineering that the girls looked at him with stars in their eyes. At the same time, the girls were shocked. They remembered that when Qin Fen left Hero City, he was only at stage 4 true Qi. In just 2 months, he had already broken through to stage 7 true Qi. After bidding farewell to the girls, Qin Fen piloted the hummingbird fighter towards the mysterious ice sect. The mysterious ice sect was also in Heaven Regent City. It was one of the weaker sacred sects in Heaven Regent City. The hummingbird fighter flew for a day and a night. When Qin Fen arrived at the foot of the mysterious ice sect's mountain, the sky had already turned dark. The entire mysterious ice sect was shrouded in darkness. Who are you? This is the sacred place of the mysterious ice sect. Outsiders, hurry up and... As soon as Qin Fen arrived at the entrance of the mountain, he was stopped by 2 disciples. Without saying a word, Qin Fen casually threw a few fire blades. The 2 disciples were beheaded before they could finish their sentence. There were dozens of disciples guarding the entrance. When they regained their senses, they saw the headless bodies lying in a pool of blood. Their hearts turned cold. Who are you? Why did you kill the disciples of the mysterious ice sect? How dare you trespass into the sacred place of the mysterious ice sect? Aren't you afraid that I'll send the great elder and his sect leader to kill you? The disciples could tell that Qin Fen was strong, so no one dared to take the initiative to attack him. Some of them even used the name of the sect's elder and sect leader to intimidate Qin Fen. However, Qin Fen's expression did not change. It was as if he did not hear their threats. He said calmly, I am Qiao Feng, a disciple of the Celestial Soul Sect. Tonight, I will enter the mysterious ice sect to take revenge. If you don't want to die, leave quickly. When the real battle begins, the sword in my hand will not have eyes. Qin Fen's words were arrogant and overbearing. He came alone, but he had the aura of wanting to destroy the mysterious ice sect. The disciples were all enraged. One of the senior brothers suddenly swung his sword and said, Let's all attack together. We're not afraid of them alone. Rumble. Chapter 1444. The disciples who were about to follow their senior brothers to kill Qin Fen all stopped. Their eyes were filled with fear, as if Qin Fen was a demon that crawled out of the ground. Qin Feng did not care about the disciples guarding the gate at all. He strode with his hands behind his back, as if he was on a tour. The dozen disciples retreated, their hands on the swords at their waists. They wanted to attack, but did not dare to. "Don't go any further, or else we will." Seeing that Qin Feng was about to step into the inner area, another disciple could not take it anymore and threatened him. Just like before, his body suddenly exploded halfway through his sentence. A burning smell wafted through the air. It was as if flesh and blood were being burnt, and it almost made the other disciples vomit. Qin Feng was decisive and ruthless. His attack was so fast that the mysterious ice sect disciples did not even see what was going on before their senior brothers exploded into pieces. At this point, no one dared to stop Qin Feng. They held their breaths, not even daring to breathe. Qin Feng ignored the group of disciples guarding the gate. These people were the lowest existences in the mysterious ice sect. He came here to take revenge on Xian Xianzhong and then kill the sect master of the mysterious ice sect. He wanted to remove the name of this evil sect from the divine great land. Whoosh! A gust of wind suddenly blew. Qin Feng turned into a pink light and disappeared, rushing towards the inner area of the mysterious ice sect. The group of disciples who were guarding the gate were still in a daze, staring at each other in bewilderment. "Quick, go and report to the elders. There's an expert trespassing into the mysterious ice sect." Finally, some disciples woke up. They did not need to report to the elders anymore. Qin Feng turned into a pink light and stepped into the area where the core disciples and elders lived. Suddenly, dozens of black shadows appeared in the air and surrounded Qin Feng from all directions. A few deep and cold voices echoed in the sky. "Who are you? Surrender now. This is the holy land of the mysterious ice sect in Heaven Domain City. Those who are not disciples of our sect are not allowed to enter. You look like a disciple of another sacred sect. How can you not know this rule? Why are you still talking to him? If he dares to trespass the great mysterious ice sect, just kill him." The group of mysterious ice sect core disciples had completely surrounded Qin Feng. Relying on their numbers, they did not put Qin Feng in their eyes at all. However, there was a sudden explosion in midair. The man who was yelling about killing Qin Feng suddenly split in the middle. His body exploded into two halves and fell to the ground. The clamoring voices immediately disappeared. The dozen or so disciples who had rushed over and were about to attack quickly retreated. There were about 30 or so core disciples who maintained a distance of 30 meters from Qin Feng and stared at him with serious expressions. "Who are you? Why did you go on a killing spree without saying anything?" A core disciple at the 5th layer of true Qi gathered his courage and asked. Qin Feng was surrounded by people, but he stood there like a pine tree with an indifferent expression. It was as if the people around him were nothing to him. "I am Xiao Feng, a disciple of the Celestial Spirit sect. Tonight, I have come to take revenge on the mysterious ice sect. I will definitely kill any disciple of the mysterious ice sect. I advise you to leave now. Otherwise, it will be too late for you to leave later." The mysterious ice sect was considered a small sacred sect that did not make the cut in the divine continent. Compared to the Thousand Shadows sect, one of the 5 supreme existences of the divine continent, they were not even worth mentioning. Their overall strength was even weaker than the Spirit Beast sect, Ji Chun, and other sections. Therefore, the so-called core disciples surrounding Qin Feng were only at the 5th layer of true Qi. Even experts at the 6th layer of true Qi were rare. Everyone gritted their teeth at Qin Feng's arrogant words, but no one dared to attack. The disciple who was killed by Qin Feng's fireblade was one of the few experts at the 5th layer of true Qi. Even that senior brother could not withstand one move from Qin Feng. What confidence did these disciples have to fight with him? The atmosphere suddenly became deadlocked. The group of core disciples did not plan to leave, nor did they dare to attack. They were deliberately stalling for time. They thought that once the elder and sect leader arrived, this arrogant brat in front of them would definitely die. Qin Feng was very clear about these people's intentions, but he was too lazy to expose them. These disciples were waiting for the elder and sect leader to appear, and Qin Feng was also waiting for them to arrive. Not long after, a gale suddenly rose in the air, and 5 black shadows shot out from different directions, like 5 sharp arrows flying in the air. Qin Feng's expression suddenly changed. Without saying anything, he raised his hand. Immediately, a golden light illuminated the sky. The elder who was swatting at him exploded in midair. Rumble. The loud explosion continued, but the other 4 black shadows suddenly retreated. After the 4 elders landed on the ground, they looked up into the sky. Seeing Elder Xian Ao die just like that, the 4 of them were stunned. The group of core disciples were even more dumbfounded. They could not help but let out a cry of surprise. Xian Ao was one of the 5 great elders of mysterious ice sect. Although he was the weakest elder, he had also stepped into the 6th layer of true qi. Even with such a powerful realm, he could not withstand the power of the other party's blade. How powerful was this person? Who are you? Why are you making an enemy of our mysterious ice sect? One of the 4 elders who were still alive opened his mouth. Does your mysterious ice sect have a bastard called Xian Qianzhong? Tell him to come out and kneel before me. Qin Feng finally saw a few people in charge, so he directly went into the main topic. The group of core disciples suddenly burst into an uproar. Qin Feng's arrogance had refreshed their horizons time and time again. This was the mysterious ice sect's base, and there were many disciples and experts in the sect. How could they allow him to behave so atrociously here? Moreover, Xian Qianzhong had a prominent position in mysterious ice sect because he was the only son of the sect leader, Xian Xian. In the future, he would inherit the position of sect leader. How dare you talk nonsense in our mysterious ice sect? Disciples, listen up. Set up the mysterious ice sword formation. The 4 great elders were instantly enraged. One of them gave the order, and the 30 or so core disciples gathered around immediately pulled out their swords and ran. Qin Feng was surrounded in the center of the field. The disciples each held a sword and ran around him. Qin Feng did not know if they were dizzy from running around. Qin Feng was dizzy from watching. Attack! At this moment, the elder shouted again. The disciples who were running suddenly pointed their swords at Qin Feng, as if they were sharp swords stabbing towards him. The surrounding temperature suddenly dropped. Every disciple's body was as cold as frost. Their swords emitted cold air. Before the swords completely fell, the air shot out hundreds of thousands of ice thorns towards Qin Feng. Boom! Qin Feng waved his hand, and instantly a golden sword energy that was a few hundred meters long condensed in the air. The moment the long sword landed, the row of disciples exploded into the sky. Flesh and blood rained down. Rumble. After the sword fell, Qin Feng turned around and slashed again. Golden light flashed. Suddenly, the people behind him also exploded into the sky. The air was filled with loud noises, as if the sky was going to explode. The disciples who were still alive did not dare to attack again. Some of them did not even dare to pick up their swords. They ran far away as if they were running for their lives. You bunch of trash, come back. The 4 elders were so angry that they blew their beards and glared at them. However, no matter how they shouted, the disciples ignored them. Qin Feng stood still like a pine tree. There was not even a wound on his body. He broke into the mysterious ice sect alone and fought until now, as if nothing had happened. The 4 elders realized Qin Feng's strength. They knew that this time, the mysterious ice sect would be in great danger of being annihilated. At the same time, the 4 of them complained in their hearts. This Qin Feng specifically came to cause trouble for Xian Qianzhong. That brat relied on the fact that he was the only son of the sect leader, Xian Xian, and usually caused trouble outside. Every time, the 5 elders had to clean up after him. And this time, Elder Xian Ao was already wiped to death. Brat, if you leave now, we can pretend that nothing happened tonight. If you dare to mess around again, don't blame us for being impolite. The leading elder was called Sovereign Xian, and he was the leader of the 5 elders of the mysterious ice sect. He was a sovereign who had stepped into true Qi Stage 7, but even he wasn't confident. He couldn't wait for Qin Feng to leave. However, Qin Feng didn't do as they wished. He stood still like a towering mountain. My patience is limited. Hurry up and tell that bastard Xianzhong to come out and kneel before me. Otherwise, I'll massacre your mysterious ice sect. Brat, you sure have guts. Then let me see what you're capable of. Sovereign Xian was completely enraged. He suddenly leaped into the air and disappeared. As soon as he moved, the other three elders also moved. The four of them clearly fought together. Their actions were almost identical. They didn't need to communicate to block off all of Qin Feng's escape routes. Suddenly, the sound of swords rang out in the air. The four elders slashed down with their swords. Their swords were filled with cold air, and wherever they went, the air instantly froze. A strange and mysterious scene appeared around Qin Feng. The swords that slashed through the air were frozen, and layer by layer, they enveloped Qin Feng. Boom! Qin Feng casually threw a punch. It was as if thunder and a tiger's roar could be heard. The wind from his fist was mixed with tens of flying swords. Under such a ferocious attack, the tens of layers of ice walls did not shatter, but cracks appeared. The expressions of Sovereign Xian and the others changed. They were obviously shocked by Qin Feng's strength. The four of them worked together to form the mysterious ice sword formation. The sword Qi turned into ice, and it could freeze a true Qi Stage 6 expert to death. Even a true Qi Stage 7 expert would have to avoid them. But now, Qin Feng had almost destroyed their sword formation with just one punch. How powerful was he? This brat is stronger than we thought. Just use your ultimate move. Xian'ao was no longer in a mood to play with Qin Feng. The long sword in his hand sped up, and the sword Qi in the air intensified. Chapter 1445. The space that Qin Feng could stand in was getting smaller and smaller. He was now only 2 meters in front of him. Ice walls formed from sword Qi surrounded him, and they were closing in on him. Xianzun and the others finally smiled. It was as if they could already see Qin Feng being squashed alive by the ice wall. However, the smiles on their faces suddenly froze. A series of explosions rocked the ground. Rumble. Dozens of ice walls had already formed, forming a layer of ice that was even harder than the city walls. Sovereign Xian and the others could not even see through the ice. But suddenly, hundreds of red lights appeared in the ice. The four of them were confused. What were those things? Sovereign Xian, I have a bad feeling about this. Should we retreat? One of the elders was nervous, and his palms were sweating. The other 2 elders also realized that something was wrong. A hidden sense of danger was about to explode. Sovereign Xian refused to give up. He felt that if the 4 of them could hold on for a little longer, the kid would be killed. But before he could say anything, the ice suddenly exploded. The 4 of them finally saw clearly what the red dots on the ice layer were. There were actually thousands of red spear lights shooting towards them like sharp arrows. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Qin Feng's spear pierced through the air, and the spear lights rained down like arrows. Sovereign Xian had already dodged, but his arms and legs were still wounded. The other 3 elders did not even have the chance to escape. Their bodies were pierced by the spear lights again and again, and they were suspended in the air. The 3 elders' eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. Even before they died, they could not believe that Qin Feng was so powerful. Rumble. When the spear lights landed, the 3 elders' bodies exploded like fireworks in the night sky. Blood splattered on the ground, and the entire Xianbing sect was filled with the stench of blood. Qin Feng leaped into the air and landed in front of Sovereign Xian in a few breaths. Sovereign Xian was already trembling in fear. When he saw Qin Feng kill the 3 elders with his own eyes, he no longer had any desire to continue fighting. Young hero, please spare my life. I have no grudge against you. Please don't kill me. Sovereign Xian panicked and lost all his arrogance. Qin Feng's expression was indifferent. Just as he was about to kill Xianzhong with a spear, Xianzun shouted, "Young hero, I am willing to take you to Xianzhong." Rumble. Qin Feng didn't hesitate in the slightest as he thrust his spear. This spear was not the Rainbow Demon Storm spear, but an ice spear that Qin Fun had casually condensed using extreme ice. The blue ice spear pierced through Xianzun's heart. Xianzun was not dead yet. His eyes were wide open as he stared at the ice spear in disbelief. Don't think that your profound ice sect is the only one who knows how to play with ice. When I play with extreme ice, all of you will be scared to death. Puchi. As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, he pulled out the ice spear. Xianzun's body floated to the ground, completely dead. Looking at Xianzun's body, Qin Feng seemed to be talking to himself. You guys didn't want Xianzhong to come out before, but now I don't need you guys to lead me. I will turn the profound ice sect upside down and take him down myself. Qin Feng didn't move. He knew that there was no need for him to look for the sect leader and Xianzhong. They would find him themselves. Just as Qin Feng expected, after waiting for half a minute, a flurry of hurried footsteps came from all directions. There was also a black shadow flickering in the air. Its speed was even faster than the 5 Grand Elders of Mystic Venerable Lord Xian. Rumble. As soon as the black shadow arrived, a palm landed. Qin Feng stepped on his flying sword and flashed away, creating a large crater in the ground where he had been standing. In less than 10 seconds, the empty space was surrounded by hundreds of people. It seemed that all the disciples of the profound ice sect were gathered here. Brat, how dare you break into my profound ice sect at night and kill my disciples and elders? I am the sect leader, Xianzun, and I will kill you today. At the top of the castle stood an elder in a black robe. Qin Feng didn't need to introduce himself to know that he was the sect leader of the profound ice sect. Because in the entire profound ice sect, only the Xianzun's aura was as calm as the sea. Qin Feng couldn't tell how strong he was. However, Qin Feng wasn't afraid of him. This Xianzun's aura was similar to that of the vice sect leader of the Blazing Sun sect. He was most likely a stage 8 true Qi expert. Spirit Beast sect, Ji Chun, Yu Luo Quan, Yin Huashan, and the other sect leaders of Distant Ice City and Meteor City were all at stage 8 true Qi. Where is that bastard Xianzhong? Why isn't he coming out to kowtow and wait for death? Even in front of the sect leader of the profound ice sect, Qin Feng was still full of arrogance. The hundreds of disciples gathered around were shocked. They couldn't understand where Qin Feng's confidence came from. He dared to challenge the might of the entire profound ice sect by himself. Stinking brat, I am Xianzhong. I want to see what you can do to me today. Xianzhong had long known about Qin Feng's attack on the profound ice sect. He didn't dare to come out before. Now that his father, the Xianzun, was personally leading the team with hundreds of sect disciples, how could Xianzhong be afraid of Qin Feng? He was mixed in the crowd of disciples waiting to attack Qin Feng. However, halfway through his arrogant words, a ball of fire flashed in front of him. He subconsciously touched his neck and realized that his head had been knocked off. Whoosh! The crowd was instantly in an uproar. Many disciples standing beside Xianzhong were so scared that they fell down. Dead? Senior brother Xianzhong is dead? Who killed senior brother Xianzhong? Come out if you have the guts. Qin Feng had always been like this. 10 steps to kill a person, 1,000 miles without leaving his name. His attack speed was so fast that the group of disciples didn't even know how Xianzhong died. The disciples standing near Xianzhong panicked. They knew that the opponent was here to kill Xianzhong. Otherwise, he could have easily killed any one of them. But not everyone was oblivious. The profound immortal standing at the top of the castle roared and waved his palm at Qin Feng. How dare you kill my child? I'll tear you into pieces. The profound immortal standing at the top of the castle was furious. Rumble. The power of a level 8 true Qi cultivator was not to be underestimated. Moreover, the Xianzun suddenly lost his son and was in a state of madness. His skinny palms danced like the wind. In a breath, thousands of palm prints landed on the ground, creating a large pit. The 100 or so profound ice sect disciples were startled. Seeing that the sect leader had already made his move, they naturally chased after Qin Feng. In an instant, he was surrounded by everyone. Even Qin Fan couldn't fight back. He wasn't afraid of the 5 or 6 true Qi cultivators on the ground. The main thing was that he didn't dare to touch the Xianzun. Qin Fan flew on his golden wheel. From time to time, a pink light flashed in the sky, indicating that a few profound ice sect disciples were pierced by flying swords. Seeing that more and more disciples were killed, the Xianzun's eyes were spitting fire. His speed suddenly increased by a lot. He stabbed his sword into Qin Fan's back. Rumble. A loud sound exploded on Qin Fan's back. If he wasn't wearing the golden rock heavenly supreme armor, he would have been pierced by the Xianzun sword. However, this sword made him fall to the ground and sink into a huge pit. The 100 or so disciples on the ground immediately flew over with the intention to tear Qin Fan into pieces. However, Qin Fan's angry roar came from the huge pit. Whoever stays behind will die. I, Xiao Feng, am going to start a massacre. Now that Qin Fan was injured by the Xianzun, how could those disciples believe his nonsense? They all rushed over as if to snatch the credit. More than 30 people had already leaped into the air. The long swords in their hands fell towards the bottom of the pit. The sword Qi collided and condensed in midair, causing sparks to burst out. Although these disciples were mostly at the 5th true Qi stage, the combined attack of dozens of people was not to be underestimated. Rumble. A violent explosion spread out, followed by a wild beast's roar. The expressions of the dozens of disciples who rushed over changed greatly. They didn't know when, but a huge fiery red beast had emerged from the huge pit. The huge beast was more than 5 meters tall. Its arms were as thick as a tree. With a wave of its long arms, the air exploded. The group of so-called true Qi realm disciples were like flies that couldn't withstand a single blow. They were all swatted to the ground. Roar, roar. The gigantic winged fire demon roared towards the sky and jumped out of the huge pit. The moment it landed, the entire valley shook and the ground sank deep. Qin Fan had already stepped on the golden wheel and flashed to the distant sky. The gigantic winged fire demon charged forward, as if it had entered an uninhabited land. The group of mysterious ice sect disciples didn't even have time to recover from their shock. One by one, they were trampled into meat paste by the huge feet of the fire demon. Looking at this massacre scene, Qin Fan's expression was indifferent. He had already warned the mysterious ice sect disciples to quickly leave. It was these disciples who didn't want to live, so they couldn't blame him. The sudden appearance of the gigantic winged fire demon completely disrupted the group of disciples' formation. In less than half a minute, more than 30 disciples had died miserably in the hands of the fire demon. The other 50 disciples were so scared that they abandoned their weapons and fled. There were still more than 20 people who persisted in the bloody battle, but they simply couldn't withstand the ferocity of the fire demon. Even the Xian Immortal was stunned. He really couldn't understand where such a huge magical beast came from. However, the Xian Immortal could see that the gigantic winged fire demon was a high-level magical beast. Its strength was comparable to a martial cultivator at the 8th level of true Qi. As a magical beast, its attack power was astonishing and its defense was heaven-defying. Even the Xian Immortal wasn't confident that he could take down the fire demon. Stinking brat, even if I die, I will drag you down with me. The Xian Immortal realized that the situation was over. Tonight, the mysterious ice sect would disappear. In his anger, he brandished his sword and attacked Qin Fan. In his eyes, Qin Fan wasn't his match at all. The moment the long sword fell, the air instantly froze. The Xian Immortal's expression changed greatly. The scene of Qin Fan being frozen into an ice sculpture in his imagination didn't appear. Where was Qin Fan's figure in front of him? However, a gust of wind suddenly appeared behind him. When the Xian Immortal turned his head, thousands of red spear auras surged over like a tide. Rumble. The spear auras were like arrows, unstoppable. The Xian Immortal's body instantly exploded in the air. Chapter 1446. Qin Feng heaved a long sigh of relief as he looked at the bloodied corpses on the ground. The hatred between him and the mysterious ice sect had started in the secular world of China. Yi Beixian from a Yi family in the capital had brought a group of disciples from the mysterious ice sect to the Dongfang family to cause trouble. At first, Qin Feng had been defeated by Yi Beixian. But now, Yi Beixian had single-handedly killed his way to the base of the mysterious ice sect in the Divine Land and destroyed the sect in one night. Qin Feng sent out several balls of destructive flames, directly burning the Black Ice sect. He was already on his way to Fire Beacon City. Destroying the mysterious ice school was only a small part of his plan. When Qin Feng found out about the Divine Continent's 5 venerables and saw the power of the Thousand Shadow sect leader, Qing Chun, he realized how powerful the Divine Continent was. How could a Shin immortal, a Stage 8 true Qi Stage 8 ant, display such power? After traveling for an entire night, Qin Feng arrived at Fire Beacon City early in the morning. He didn't dare to delay for even a second since he was afraid that something would happen to the 3 women. This was Qin Feng's second time at Fire Beacon City, so he was very familiar with the place. He immediately went to the northern office of Fire Beacon Hall and asked Deacon E to help him find the whereabouts of the 3 women. The northern district office of the Fire Beacon Hall was packed with people, as usual. Most of them were disciples from the Saint Gate who came here to take on missions. Qin Feng directly bypassed the main hall and headed towards the office. Just when he arrived at the door of Deacon E's office, he was stopped by 2 staff members. "Hey, who are you? Why did you come to our office?" One of the brawny men glared at Qin Feng coldly. "I'm looking for Deacon." Qin Feng didn't want to waste time and was about to enter. The 2 burly men stood on the left and right side of the door, like 2 door gods. "Brat, Deacon E isn't here. If you have anything to say, go line up in the lobby." The brawny man glared at Qin Feng coldly. He thought Qin Feng was here to ask for help. Qin Feng was a bit impatient and said, "You can ask Administrator Wang to see me." The 2 muscular men stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. They were amused by Qin Feng's words. Who did he think he was? You can see the deacon whenever you want to? You want Deacon Wang to come out and see you? What a joke. Stinking brat. I'm warning you, don't cause trouble here. Otherwise, we'll throw you out. The 2 brawny men's expressions became fierce. Qin Feng laughed coldly in his heart. These 2 people were merely at the 4th stage of true Qi. He could kill them with one palm strike. "If you don't move aside, I'll toss you aside," Qin Feng said coldly. "Hey, you sound like you're telling the truth. Why don't you throw one at me?" One of the brawny men shouted fiercely. However, halfway through his words, a muffled sound came from the passageway. That guy had already been thrown more than 10 meters away by Qin Feng. He crashed into the ground and created a few cracks. The other burly man forcefully swallowed the harsh words in his stomach and carefully moved to the side to make way for Qin Feng. He gulped and looked at Qin Feng nervously. Qin Feng ignored him and kicked open WNG Lei's door. However, Deacon Wang was not in the room. He went to Deacon Yi's office again, but the old sly fox was not there either. Where did Deacon Yi and Deacon Wang go? When will you be back? Qin Feng stared anxiously at the brawny man outside the door. The staff member trembled in fear and carefully said, "I'm just a normal disciple here. No, I don't know where Deacon Wang went, and I have no right to ask." Seeing that the other person was just a small fry, Qin Feng was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. He simply sat in Deacon Wang's office and waited for that guy to return. After waiting for a while, 2 people came in, but they were not WNG Lei. The 2 of them were wearing the uniform of the Fire Beacon Hall's north office. After entering the room, the 2 of them looked at Qin Feng strangely. It was clear that they had never seen him before. However, the 2 of them did not ask about Qin Feng's identity and sat at a table to the side to chat. "Gao Yang, didn't you bring 3 beauties to the teleportation formation the day before yesterday? Didn't you do anything to them?" The well-built man laughed strangely. The other tall man said, "Lei Shan, do you think I don't want to take those 3 beauties? I did bring up the idea of conquering them, but they didn't want to." Lei Shan said with a speechless expression, "Fuck. If they didn't want to, You wouldn't have used forceful methods? You really wasted such a good opportunity. It would have been great if you had sent me to lead the three of them that day. Your elder would have definitely gotten them. Gao Yang pursed his lips and said, "Stop your wishful thinking. Do you think I didn't play forceful? I already threatened them with death, but in the end, those three girls were each more unyielding than the last. One of the girls put a long sword to her neck and said that if I took one more step forward, she would kill herself. I thought she was just scaring me, but she really did drop her sword. If it wasn't for the other two girls stopping her, someone would have died." Lei Shan's expression changed. He did not think that this would happen. He and Gao Yang were both ordinary disciples who had just joined the Fire Beacon Hall's North Office. They did not dare to cause any trouble, or else they would be severely punished by the higher-ups of the Fire Beacon Hall. Just as the two of them were chatting intensely, a cold voice suddenly sounded in their ears, scaring the two of them so much that they almost jumped. "What are the names of the three girls you were talking about? Where did they go?" Gao Yang and Lei Shan looked at Qin Feng with a bit of resentment. However, the two of them could not figure out his identity and could not get angry at him. Gao Yang probed, "Brother, what do you do in the Fire Beacon Hall's North Office?" Qin Feng slapped him and growled, "I'm asking you a question. What are the names of those three girls?" Gao Yang felt that his head was almost sent flying by Qin Feng's slap. He was so angry that he immediately roared, "How can you hit people so casually, brat? Do you believe that I won't call the administrator to take care of you?" Qin Feng heard the entire conversation between the two of them. He guessed that the three girls were most likely Su Ruoro and the other two. Knowing that Gao Yang wanted to force himself on the three of them, Qin Feng's eyes spat out flames. He casually waved his hand, and a flame suddenly appeared. The head of Gao Yang, who was acting ruthlessly, flew out. Fresh blood immediately stained the wooden table and floor. Lei Shan's eyeballs fell to the ground, and he fell on his butt. His hand accidentally touched Gao Yang's head, and he was so scared that he threw Gao Yang's head far away. Hero, don't kill me. I was wrong. I know I was wrong." Lei Shan was so scared that his entire body trembled. He really did not know how he and Gao Yang offended Qin Feng. Was he going to kill someone just because they didn't answer his question? Qin Feng's face was cold, and his voice seemed to come from hell. "What were the names of those three women? Where did they go?" This was the third time he asked this question. No matter how stupid Lei Shan was, he realized the importance of this question. He hurriedly said, "Hero, please don't be angry." That day, Gao Yang led the three women to the transfer formation. "I don't know their names. Where did they go? But I can help you look for them. I'll immediately find them for you. Hurry and scram." Qin Feng angrily roared, scaring Lei Shan into running out of the room. After Lei Shan left, he did not rush to the file room to help Qin Feng look for the three women's mission registration. Instead, he rushed to the Fire Beacon Hall's guards. He was going to call the guards to arrest Qin Feng. Halfway there, he bumped into W&G Lei, who had just returned. "Lei Shan, what are you in a hurry for?" W&G Lei glared at him with dissatisfaction. Lei Shan had just come to the Fire Beacon Hall to work and was placed under W&G Lei. When he saw W&G Lei return, it was as if he saw his savior. "Manager Wong, you're finally back. You have to get justice for this little brother." W&G Lei said with a cold expression. "Get what justice? Make yourself clear." Lei Shan hurriedly said, "Manager Wong, a ruthless person came to the Fire Beacon Hall and killed Gao Yang without saying anything." W&G Lei's expression changed greatly. This was the Fire Beacon Hall's office. Yet someone dared to kill someone here? This was someone tired of living. "Are you sure Gao Yang was killed? Where was he killed?" W&G Lei became serious. "I'm sure, and he was killed in Manager Wong's office." Just as Lei Shan finished speaking, he saw W&G Lei rushing towards the office in a hurry. Killing someone in the Fire Beacon Hall was a big deal. In the end, this person died in his territory. How could W&G Lei not be anxious? The two of them rushed into the office one after the other. They were both stunned. The room was clean. Where had anyone been killed? When Qin Feng saw W&G Lei, he thought that Lei Shan had specially called him over. As for Gao Yang's corpse, It had already been burned to ashes by his destructive flames. Manager Wang. He was the one who killed Gao Yang. The corpse was still there. He must have hidden the corpse. Lei Shan pointed at Qin Feng as soon as he entered the room. This caused Qin Feng to swallow the words that were on the tip of his tongue. He had planned to let Lei Shan go, but now it seemed that he was courting death. I told you to investigate the names and whereabouts of the 3 women. What's the result of your investigation? Qin Feng acted as if he hadn't heard Lei Shan's accusation and coldly asked. Lei Shan felt that something was wrong. He felt that Qin Feng was too fearless. He killed someone in the Fire Beacon Hall's North District office, yet he acted as if nothing had happened and was so calm when he saw Manager Wang. However, Lei Shan still didn't realize it. He didn't believe that Qin Feng was stronger than Manager Wang. He glared at Qin Feng and roared, "You idiot! You dared to kill someone in the Fire Beacon Hall's office, and you want me to investigate the files for you? I've specially called for Deacon Wang to destroy you." Lei Shan knew that WNG Lei was an expert at the 6th stage of True Qi. He believed that he could deal with the young brat in front of him. However, he saw that WNG Lei had long been scared silly. How could he dare to deal with Qin Feng? This person was Manager Yi's good friend. Then I can only say to you that it's a pity. Leave your dog life here. Qin Feng's face was filled with a cold smile. His smile was as cold as the god of death from hell. Lei Shan realized that danger was approaching. He immediately hid behind WNG Lei and hoped that Manager Wang could save him. Manager Wang, you saw how arrogant that brat is. Quickly make a move. Bang. Before he could finish, he was kicked into the corner by WNG Lei. Chapter 1447. WNG Lei did not eat the wrong medicine. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lei Shan. However, at this moment, Qin Feng's cold voice traveled into his ears. Deacon WNG, I'll give you a chance. Kill that person now, so I don't dirty my hands. WNG Lei's expression changed continuously. He was hesitant. Lei Shan trembled in fear. He finally realized how powerful Qin Feng was, and that he had kicked a nail on the head. Deacon WNG, you can't kill me. I'm from the Fire Beacon Hall. Lei Shan hurriedly begged for mercy. A hint of impatience flashed across Qin Feng's face. He waved his hand, and Lei Shan, who was begging for mercy, immediately fell silent. His head fell from his neck and rolled to the ground, all the way to WNG Lei's feet. Fuck off. Wang Lei was startled. He instinctively kicked Lei Shan's head away like he was kicking a soccer ball. A storm was set off in his heart. Last time, he had taken a fancy to Hua Xiaojin's beauty, but he didn't get to fight with Qin Feng. Now that he saw Qin Feng destroy Lei Shan, who was at stage 4 True Qi, with a raise of his hand, WNG Lei admitted that he couldn't do this. He quickly realized why Qin Feng wanted him to kill Lei Shan. Qin Feng was giving him a chance to follow him. Now that he had lost the chance, WNG Lei suddenly felt regret. Cough, cough. Young hero Qiao, may I ask why you are here? WNG Lei quickly recovered and did not mention Qin Feng's murder. 3 women came to your office to accept a mission the day before yesterday. Gao Yang brought them to the transportation formation. I want you to take out the file immediately and find out their names and whereabouts. Qin Feng's face was cold. Although WNG Lei was dissatisfied with his commanding tone, Qin Feng was powerful and had a relationship with Deacon Yi, so he had no choice but to run off to do his job. After a while, WNG Lei rushed back with the file. He opened the cowhide file on the wooden table and said, Young hero Qiao, the 3 women you mentioned did exist. Take a look and see if they're the people you're looking for. Qin Feng jumped up with a whoosh. His sudden action scared WNG Lei. He quickly scanned the file, and his gaze suddenly stopped on a paragraph in the middle of the file. Su Ruoro, Chioya, and Thousand Illusion Child are heading to Poison Sun City's Fire Beast Battalion to complete a mission. The record was simple and clear. It really was Su Ruoro and the other 2. When Qin Feng saw that they had gone to Poison Sun City's Fire Beast Battalion, he immediately guessed that the 3 women must have heard that he had been to the Fire Beast Battalion. After hearing about the 3 women, Qin Feng did not want to stay for even a moment longer. This time, Gao Yang, that bastard, had almost harmed the three women. Now that they had gone to the even more dangerous Poison Sun City, who knew how many dangers they would encounter? Bring me to Poison Sun City's teleportation formation quickly. Qin Feng made a grabbing motion with his hand, and the cowhide scroll immediately burst into flames and turned into ashes. WNG Lei was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. He could feel that Qin Feng's Jin Qi was even stronger than Deacon Yi's. WNG Lei didn't dare to be negligent and immediately led Qin Feng to the Deacon. Less than 10 minutes later, the two of them arrived at the teleportation array formation. That young hero Qiao. This formation requires 20 people to activate. You alone. Aren't you wasting too many resources? Why don't you give me more spirit stones? WNG Lei looked at Qin Feng with an awkward expression. Qin Feng shouted angrily, "Do you want to die? Hurry up and activate the formation." WNG Lei was so scared that he quickly shut his mouth and activated the formation. Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin had been here before, so they were more familiar with the teleportation formation. Qin Feng suddenly turned into a streak of white light and disappeared. He had been sent into the formation. WNG Lei heaved a long sigh of relief. The pressure that Qin Feng gave him was too great. Now that Qin Feng had left, he couldn't help but curse. What the hell is this? Don't let me see you again. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Deacon WNG. Who are you going to beat up? Just as WNG Lei was grumbling, a dignified voice came from behind him. He was so scared that he immediately forced a smile. Hee, it's Deacon E. I didn't say I was going to beat anyone up. You must have heard wrongly. The person who came was Ivan. He was a stage 7 true Qi realm cultivator. So how could he have heard wrongly? Seeing that WNG Lei was unwilling to speak, Ivan didn't pursue the matter. All right, didn't you just send a batch of Holy Gate disciples back? Why are you here again? Deacon E, your friend is here. He is young hero Qiao. WNG Lei smiled when he mentioned Qin Feng in front of Deacon E. It was as if he was Qin Feng's good friend. Ivan's expression changed, and a glint flashed in his old eyes. He and Qin Feng couldn't be considered friends. They were only friends because of mutual benefits. However, Ivan liked Qin Feng because Qin Feng was really generous. He had given him several hundred high-grade spirit stones in one go. Oh, where is young hero Qiao? Quick, bring me to see him. Ivan was impatient. He wanted to get more benefits from Qin Feng. WNG Lei thought about it and decided not to tell Deacon E about Qin Feng killing Gao Yang and Lei Shan. Seeing that Deacon E was so eager to see Qin Feng, he felt that Deacon E wouldn't blame Qin Feng even if he told him. Deacon E, young hero Qiao, went to the Fire Beast Battalion. Ivan was puzzled. Didn't he just bring a woman to Poison Sun City? Why did he go there again? WNG Lei answered truthfully. I think he went to look for 3 girls. The 3 girls accepted the Fire Beast Battalion mission the day before yesterday. I'm afraid young hero Qiao went to look for them. Speaking of the 3 girls who accepted the mission the day before yesterday, Ivan had some impression of them. The 3 girls were all outstanding beauties. When they entered the hall of the Fire Beacon Hall's North District office, they caused a commotion. Oh no, I'm afraid those 3 girls didn't go to the Fire Beast Battalion. Ivan seemed to have thought of something, and his expression suddenly changed. WNG Lei was scared to death. He hurriedly asked, Deacon E, why didn't those 3 girls go to the Fire Beast Battalion? The file clearly states that they went to the Fire Beast Battalion. Sigh, they did accept the Fire Beast Battalion mission. However, that brat Gao Yang reported to me yesterday. He said that because he just came to the Fire Beacon Hall to work, he didn't understand the essentials of the teleportation array. He accidentally teleported the 3 girls to different locations in Poison Sun City. As for where exactly they were teleported to, no one knows. WNG Lei was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Qin Feng clearly came to look for those 3 girls. Now that he made such a big mistake, Would Qianfen find trouble with him after this? Deacon WNG, why do you look so pale? Are you sick? Ivan asked. WNG Lay stammered and didn't dare to explain the specific situation. He still didn't understand the relationship between Deacon E and Qianfen. He was deeply afraid that Deacon E would blame him. Maybe I've caught a cold recently. Deacon E, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. WNG Lay found an excuse and left. Ivan didn't think much of it. Chapter 1448. Qianfen had already landed at the entrance of Poison Sun City's Fire Beast Battalion. The current Fire Beast Battalion was no longer what it used to be. When he brought Hua Xiaojin and the girls here a few days ago, there were groups of fire beasts and many disciples. Now that the fire demon tree and the giant winged fire demon were taken away by Qianfen, there were no fire beasts around. However, there were still some people in the Fire Beast Battalion. These disciples didn't know what was going on. When they came here to do their mission, they were stunned. Where did all the fire beasts go? Qianfen rode Flaming Dragon Horse and galloped all the way from the outskirts of the Fire Beast Battalion to the Fire Beast base. But he didn't see Su Ruo and the girls. However, there were many Sacred Gate disciples gathered at the Fire Beast base. Some of them stood foolishly at the side, and there was another group of disciples carrying bags of cultivation resources. Qianfen didn't know what was going on. Senior brother Feng Zheng, there's another guy here. He's riding a Fergana horse. One look, and you can tell he's a rich guy. We had a good harvest today. Even though we didn't collect any fire spirit stones, we got quite a lot of elixirs, spirit artifacts, and spirit stones. This is a blessing in disguise. When Qianfen rushed over, the group of men in cyan robes who were packing suddenly stopped. They looked at Qianfen with smiles on their faces and began to discuss. There were 4 people in the green robes. Feng Zheng, who was addressed as senior brother, walked forward and shouted to Qianfen, "Brat, we are disciples of the Wind Sun Palace, one of the Divine Continent's 5 Supremes. We don't know why the fire beasts here have disappeared, but we came here for nothing. We can only use your cultivation resources to make up for it. If you know what's good for you, obediently hand over all your treasures, and I promise to spare your life." Qianfen quickly understood the situation. It turned out that people from the Wind Sun Palace were robbing here. There were more than 10 groups of people behind Feng Zheng and the others, all wearing different Sacred Gate uniforms. Qianfen glanced at them. Feng Zheng was the strongest among the 4, but he was only at the 6th stage of Qi. The other 3 disciples were only at the 5th stage of Qi. The people they robbed were also at the 6th stage of Qi. If the dozen groups of Sacred Gate disciples joined forces to resist, how could Feng Zheng and the others be a match? But soon, Qianfen understood the reason. The Wind Sun Palace was one of the 5 Supremes of the Divine Continent. Their sect's power suppressed the other sacred sects of the Divine Continent. Those disciples were probably afraid of the Wind Sun Palace's power and not Feng Zheng and the other 3 trash. "Brat, our senior brother Feng Zheng is talking to you. Are you deaf or mute?" One of the disciples shouted at Qianfen. However, there was a flash of fire. Just as the disciple finished shouting, his head suddenly flew off. His body was still standing on the ground, and blood spurted out from his neck. The playful expression on the faces of Feng Zheng and the other 2 immediately disappeared. Instead, they stared at the scene before them in horror. The Holy Gate's disciples who were being robbed cried out in shock as their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. The atmosphere suddenly became strange. The surroundings were so quiet that only the sound of the people's rapid breathing could be heard. Even though the one Qianfen killed was only a man at the 5th level of true Qi, that person didn't even have the power to retaliate before dying. Moreover, no one even saw how Qianfen made his move. What's more, that was a disciple of one of the 5 venerables of the Divine Prefecture, the Feng Sun Palace. That man riding a Fergana horse even dared to kill someone from the Feng Sun Palace? The atmosphere seemed to freeze. After a long time, Feng Zheng and the other 2 finally regained their senses. The 2 juniors were so scared that their legs were trembling. Feng Zheng pretended to be calm as he shouted, You dare to kill my juniors? We are disciples of the Feng Sun Palace. Don't tell me you don't even know about the Feng Sun Palace? It is one of the 5 venerables of the Divine Prefecture. How can an ordinary holy gate compare to it? Feng Zheng really couldn't understand. He had already announced his name, so why did the youth in front of him still dare to make a move? Qin Feng looked at Feng Zheng with an indifferent expression. He even found it a little funny. He had just killed the genius disciple of the Feng Sun Palace, Feng Xian, in the Thousand Shadows sect, and found out that the Feng Sun Palace wanted to propose marriage to Zhao Lingxian. Now, Qin Feng was planning to kill his way to the Feng Sun Palace when he had time. Who would have thought that the disciples of the Feng Sun Palace would deliver themselves to his doorstep? Of course, I've heard of the Feng Sun Palace. Qin Feng's voice carried a hint of coldness. Feng Zheng and the other 2 were immediately pleasantly surprised. They were afraid that Qin Feng didn't know how powerful the Feng Sun Palace was. Since he knew, why would he be afraid of Qin Feng? Since you understand, why don't you get off your horse and kneel down to beg for mercy? One of the disciples started to clamor again. Just as he finished speaking, there was another flash of light, and the disciple's head flew off to who knows where. I want to kill the disciples of the Feng Sun Palace. Qin Feng finally finished his sentence. Feng Zheng and the other disciple were so scared that their faces turned ashen. The people squatting in the distance were even more dumbfounded. Without waiting for the crowd to come back to their senses, Qin Feng had already turned into a black shadow and shot away. He was now a venerable martial artist who had stepped into the stage 7 True Qi realm and could fight against the stage 8 True Qi realm cultivator. The stage 5 and stage 6 True Qi realm cultivators in front of him were like ants to him. Qin Feng didn't even use the Golden Phoenix or the Rainbow Demon Storm Spear. He only used a special grade Thunder Tiger Flying Sword Fist to blast Feng Zheng and the other disciple into pieces. The battle had ended before it even started. The air was filled with the smell of blood. The group of Holy Gate disciples who had been robbed squatted at the side and trembled. They didn't know who Qin Feng was, and they didn't know when such a young venerable martial artist had appeared in the Divine Prefecture. All of you, come over and take your things back. Qin Feng's voice was neither cold nor warm, as if nothing had happened. The crowd was stunned. They thought that Qin Feng had killed the 4 people from the Feng Sun Palace to rob them. They even guessed that Qin Feng wanted to kill all of them as well. Otherwise, if the news got out, how could the Feng Sun Palace let him off so easily? In the end, not only did Qin Feng not kill them, he even returned their things. No one could understand what he was thinking. Why, young hero, can we really take back our things? The atmosphere was in a deadlock for a moment before a South Sky, Flying Fist, disciple mustered up the courage to ask. Qin Feng glanced at him. This man had already stepped into the stage 6 True Qi realm and was even stronger than Feng Zheng. However, he was willing to be robbed. It was obvious that he was afraid of the power of the Feng Sun Palace. I don't care about your cultivation resources. If you don't want them, I don't mind leaving them there, Qin Feng said casually. The crowd immediately came to their senses and ran to retrieve their things. No one dared to take advantage of the chaos to take other people's things. If there was any conflict, they might lose their lives. Everyone was in a good mood after regaining their lost items. Many people became bolder. They realized that Qin Feng wasn't a homicidal maniac. He just had a feud with the Feng Sun Palace. However, everyone was extremely curious. Who was this person? He actually had a feud with the Feng Sun Palace. Thank you for your help, young hero. If there is nothing else, we, the South Sky Flying Fist disciples, will take our leave first. The crowd took their things and had the intention to leave. They were still afraid of Qin Feng. This person's strength was unfathomable. He could take someone's life with a wave of his hand. Qin Feng said, "Don't be in a hurry to leave. I have some questions for you. Answer me truthfully." Everyone's hearts tightened as they guessed what Qin Feng was going to ask. At this moment, Qin Feng already said, "Did any of you come to the Fire Beast Battalion the day before yesterday?" A few groups of disciples had evasive expressions. They had all come a day before yesterday. They originally wanted to hide it, but they couldn't withstand the pressure that Qin Feng brought. Young hero, the Flame Association, came the day before yesterday. May I know if you have any questions? The four from the Poison sect also came the day before yesterday. The High Village disciples came the day before yesterday. Qin Feng looked at the 5 or 6 groups of disciples and asked, "When you came the day before yesterday, did you see 3 women?" Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Qin Feng to come to the Fire Beast Battalion to look for people. Now, everyone was slightly relieved. They were afraid that Qin Feng would cause trouble. In reply to Young Hero, I brought 3 junior brothers to the Fire Beast Battalion the day before yesterday. I didn't see any women, let alone a 3-man team, the senior brother from the Flame Association said respectfully. The Poison sect and High Village disciples also indicated that they didn't see the 3 women. This made Qin Feng puzzled. Were there any disciples who came here even earlier? Did you see a 3-woman team come here? If anyone discovers anything, I will reward you handsomely. Qin Feng didn't give up. Everyone was sure that Qin Feng was here to look for people. They let go of their fear and indicated that they didn't see a 3-woman team. Qin Feng could tell that everyone was telling the truth. Moreover, he saved these people, so there was no need for them to lie to him. At this time, the Sky South Flying Fist disciple muttered, "I didn't see a 3-woman team, but I just finished a mission at the Poison Scorpion Slaughterhouse the day before yesterday and rushed to the Fire Beast Battalion. I saw a woman walking alone there." Qin Feng immediately asked, "What did that woman look like?" She was as beautiful as a fairy, but her dress was a bit special. She wore a cheongsam and a short skirt. She didn't look proper, and I don't think she's from here. Qin Feng's eyes lit up. He was 90% sure that the woman was one of the 3 women. As for the Sky South Flying Fist disciple saying that the woman was improper, Qin Feng didn't care. This was because the women of the Divine Great Land all wore long sleeves and long robes. Their dressing was similar to that of ancient times. "Are you sure you only saw one strange woman?" Qin Feng was puzzled. According to the Fire Beacon Hall's North Region file, the 3 women came to the Fire Beast Battalion together. How did they get separated? Moreover, they weren't in the Fire Beast Battalion. Young hero, I'm telling the truth. I wouldn't dare to lie to you. The Sky South Flying Fist disciple hurriedly cupped his fists and said, "How far is the Poison Scorpion Slaughterhouse from here?" Qin Feng couldn't wait to rush there. The Sky South Flying Fist disciple immediately said, "It's over 500 kilometers. If we go at top speed, it'll take a day." These Holy Gate disciples would need a day, but Qin Feng could get there in a few hours with a Hummingbird fighter jet. He didn't waste any more time in the Fire Beast Battalion. He asked for a map of Poison Sun City from the crowd and left. The Hummingbird fighter jet flew at high speed. Qin Feng looked at the map of Poison Sun City as he piloted it. There were many mission locations in this land of despair. The Fire Beast Battalion, the Poison Scorpion Slaughterhouse, the Sand Formation, the Origin of Storms, the Blazing Spring, and so on. Currently, Qin Feng had only been to the Fire Beast Battalion. He was quite interested in the other mission locations. However, the most important thing right now was to find Su Ruoro and the other 2 women. When he had time, he would go to those mission locations again. Chapter 1449. Qin Feng piloted the Hummingbird warplane and reached the outskirts of the Poison Scorpion Massacre in 3 hours. He landed nearby. The Hummingbird warplane was not a product of the Divine Land. If he flew it directly into the Poison Scorpion Massacre, he would definitely scare the Sacred Sect disciples there. At this time, the sky in the distance had already darkened, but the temperature in Poison Sun City was still very high. Qin Feng had already changed into a singlet and beach shorts. Many Holy Gate disciples couldn't help but steal a few glances at him when they passed by. When he walked out of the Poison Scorpion Massacre, Qin Feng saw many scorpions crawling in the sand. He was no stranger to these small scorpions. When he brought Hua Xiaojin here, she was still hunting scorpions to collect spirit stones. Later, she was bitten by a scorpion, and Qin Feng even helped her suck out the poisonous blood. The disciples who came to the Poison Scorpion Massacre were all here to collect spirit stones. These scorpions all had very small spirit stones hidden on them. Qinfen didn't care about them anyway. This poison scorpion massacre was completely open, unlike the Fire Beast Battalion that was previously occupied by the Blazing Sun sect. Disciples who wanted to go on missions had to pay a certain amount of spirit stones. Qinfen had already walked into the poison scorpion massacre. The other disciples were racing against time to kill scorpions, but he was pacing with his hands behind his back as if he was here for a vacation. Everyone, I am Qiao Feng, a disciple of the Celestial Soul sect. I am here to find a woman. She is beautiful and dressed rather strangely. If any disciple sees this woman, please inform me. Qinfen stood in the center of the field and opened his mouth. The instant he opened his mouth, it was like a muffled thunder that made many disciples unable to breathe. Most of the people who were hunting scorpions stopped and looked at Qinfen blankly. Soon, they were busy again. These people didn't even have enough time to collect spirit stones. So how could they have the time to care about Qinfen? I have hundreds of high-grade spirit stones here. If anyone can provide me with information, I can give them to him. Qinfen casually waved his hand, and spirit stones fell to the ground at his feet. The dense spirit energy drifted out, and the crowd was stunned. They all stared at Qinfen's feet. Suddenly, dozens of black shadows shot over from all directions. One of them shouted, "Brat, leave the spirit stones and scram immediately. I can spare your life. Rumble." As soon as the man shouted, a loud sound exploded from his body. The crowd was instantly stunned. They saw the man dressed in the attire of the Bailey sect's sacred sect suddenly explode into flesh and blood in midair. Half of the people who were rushing towards Qinfen suddenly stopped in their tracks. But there were still 5 or 6 people who completely lost their minds when they saw the hundreds of high-grade spirit stones on the ground. Rumble. The loud sound exploded again, and this time, it lasted for a long time. Those 5 or 6 disciples didn't even get close to Qinfen before they all fell to the ground a few meters away. Within 5 meters of Qinfeng's feet, everything was normal. However, the surrounding area was filled with rivers of blood. It was as if they had fallen into hell. Qinfen raised his hand and killed 7 or 8 people, but he didn't even look at them. He continued to shout as if nothing had happened. Has no one seen the woman I'm talking about? If you can provide me with information, I'm willing to give you the spirit stones under my feet for free. If you want to snatch the spirit stones, feel free to come. I'll give you a free ride. Qinfen stood in the middle of the arena with his hands clasped behind his back. The sacred sect disciples who were scattered around were already stunned. Although there were still many people staring at the spirit stones under Qinfeng's feet, no one dared to come forward to snatch them. The atmosphere was silent for a moment. Suddenly, a female disciple dressed in the attire of the purple cloud mountain jumped out and said carefully, "Young hero, I saw a woman wearing revealing clothes. She was very beautiful. I wonder if she is the person you are looking for?" Qinfeng's expression changed, and he hurriedly asked, "Where did you see that woman? Bring me to her immediately." The female disciple of the Purple Cloud Mountain said nervously, "I saw her come here alone the day before yesterday. Then she disappeared. The last time I saw her, she went deep into the poisoned scorpion slaughterhouse. I don't know where she is now." Qinfen looked at the desert in the distance. The poisoned scorpion slaughterhouse was a boundless desert. There were groups of poisonous scorpions in the desert. The deeper one went, the more poisonous scorpions there were. If Su Ruoro and the other 2 girls went in, they would definitely be in danger. Take these spirit stones. Qinfen had a good impression of the Purple Cloud Mountain. This was mainly because he had humiliated Ziyu and the other 3 female disciples when he came to Poison Sun City. His voice was still echoing in the empty space, but his figure had already turned into a pink light and disappeared. Qinfen sped on his flying sword. In a breath's time, he had traveled hundreds of meters. He looked down at the poisoned scorpion slaughterhouse from the sky. However, the poisoned scorpion slaughterhouse was vast. It was simply a boundless desert. After flying for an unknown amount of time, Qinfen suddenly felt a familiar aura. He immediately increased the speed of his flying sword and descended towards the ground like a meteor. Don't, don't come any closer. Otherwise, I'll kill myself in front of you. In the depths of the poisoned scorpion slaughterhouse, Chiyo was running in the desert wearing a red qipao. She was followed by 4 disciples dressed in the attire of the Twin Peaks. The 4 of them chased Chiyo for dozens of kilometers and finally exhausted her energy. The leader, Senior Brother Wei, had an evil smile on his face. He shouted at Chiyo, who was still running more than 10 meters away. "Beauty, don't run. Do you think you can escape from our palms? Don't even think about seeking death. As long as you obediently serve us, we'll let you go immediately." Chiyo was drenched in sweat from running. However, her expression was as cold as frost. Seeing that the 4 people behind her were about to catch her, Chiyo suddenly turned around and waved her hands rapidly. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. More than 10 flying daggers suddenly shot out in midair. Senior Brother Wei's expression changed drastically. He used a mysterious footwork to narrowly avoid the attack. On the other hand, the 3 junior brothers behind her were only thinking about seizing Chiyo. They were not prepared for her attack at all. Their bodies were more or less cut by the daggers. "Bitch, you refuse a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Let's see how I'll play you to death today." The 3 of them were instantly enraged. They sped up and chased after her. One of them was about to catch Chiyo. A trace of despair flashed across Chiyo's beautiful eyes. She placed one hand on her waist. There was a dagger hidden there. She was ready to end her life at any time. Rumble. A loud sound suddenly exploded in midair. It was as if a muffled thunder had struck the ground. Before Chiyo could stab the dagger in her hand into her abdomen, her eyes narrowed. She looked at the sky in disbelief. A dazzling golden light was approaching. The surging sword energy seemed to be able to split the mountains and split the earth. However, within the golden light, there was a figure rapidly approaching. By the time the person's appearance could be seen clearly, Chiyo had already been carried into the sky by that person. That man's aura was incomparably familiar. He had a broad chest and a dignified expression. The moment Chiyo entered his arms, the panic and despair in her heart completely disappeared. It was as if the world had turned silent. "Qin Feng, is that really you?" Chiyo's eyes became moist. She had undergone special training in Japan. As a strong woman among the shinobi of Japan, she had a strong heart under any circumstances. However, at this moment, she had shed her disguise. Qin Feng hugged Chiyo tightly. He felt a stab of pain in his heart. He realized that if he had arrived half a step later, the consequences would have been unimaginable. At the same time, he began to worry about Ruo Ro and Thousand Illusion Child. He wondered what their current situation was. There was still a loud sound coming from the ground. Qin Feng's sword had directly cut the 3 Gemini Peak disciples into pieces. Senior Brother Wei, who was still alive, had a terrified expression on his face. It was as if he had seen a living ghost. Swoosh! A strong wind blew in all directions. Qin Feng carried Chiyo and landed in front of Senior Brother Wei in the blink of an eye. Chiyo gritted her teeth in anger when she saw this person. Qin Feng's cold expression was as frightening as a demon from hell. "You? Who are you?" Senior Brother Wei's body trembled uncontrollably. However, he pretended to be calm and shouted, "Let me tell you, I'm a disciple of Gemini Peak. If you dare to kill me, our Gemini Peak." Qin Feng had never been afraid of threats. Moreover, after he participated in the technology exhibition in Fire Beacon City, he was surrounded by people from Gemini Peak. He had long since formed a grudge with Gemini Peak. He casually waved his hand, and flames immediately shot into the sky. Before Senior Brother Wei could finish speaking, he was already buried in the sea of flames. Everything happened too quickly. Even Chiyo couldn't react in time. She felt like she was in a dream. She was originally in a hopeless situation. She didn't expect Qin Feng to come out on his flying sword at the most critical moment. He was like the hero in her heart. "Chiyo, you're safe now. No one will dare to bully you anymore." Qin Feng could feel Chiyo's body was still trembling, so he comforted her. Chiyo wasn't afraid that she almost committed suicide. She was afraid that everything was really just a dream. She was afraid that everything in front of her would suddenly disappear. She was most afraid that Qin Feng would disappear. Xiaoya suddenly kissed Qin Feng's lips. After going through all kinds of hardships and obstacles, this woman wanted to release her crazily at this moment. She was like a water snake that tightly wrapped around Qin Feng and wildly kissed him. Facing such a hot Xiaoya, Qin Feng couldn't resist at all. The two of them quickly fought for thousands of rounds on the sand. After an unknown amount of time, a strong wind suddenly blew in the desert. Their vision was blocked by the sand in the distance. Oh no, it's a sandstorm. Qin Feng immediately stopped. Xiaoya's eyes were blurry. She still wanted to continue. The sandstorm suddenly became ferocious. It came from thousands of meters away. Qin Feng's expression became more and more serious. He quickly pulled Xiaoya and ran outside. Xiaoya also realized the danger. When she turned her head to look, she realized that the sandstorm had already expanded to a range of hundreds of meters. It was like a giant dragon that was roaring. In just a short while, it had caught up with the two of them. Qin Feng, are we going to die? Xiaoya looked at Qin Feng lovingly. She wasn't afraid at all in the face of death. Don't talk nonsense. Ride the horse and leave first. I'll go deal with that giant beast. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, flaming dragon horse roared in the sky. The surrounding area was already covered by the sandstorm. It was a scene that covered the sky and the sun. Flaming dragon horse was like a spark in the dark night. It sped away with Xiaoya. Qin Feng stood where he was and waited for the sandstorm to arrive. He had already discovered some clues. This was not a real sandstorm, but a scene brought about by a giant beast surging over. Chapter 1450. The sandstorm was getting closer and closer to Qin Feng, and the huge body hidden in the sandstorm was gradually revealed. Just as Qin Feng had guessed, this wasn't a real sandstorm. There was a 5-meter-tall giant beast in the sand and dust. The giant beast was completely black and looked like a poisonous scorpion. Its body was divided into 3 parts: the head and chest, the front abdomen, and the back abdomen. There were 2 pairs of appendages on the head. One was a pair of small stingers that could help with eating, and the other was a pair of powerful stingers that were shaped like pincers. There were 4 pairs of legs on the chest and a long poisonous hook on the tail. After examining it, Qin Feng confirmed that this was a poisonous scorpion. It looked similar to the small poisonous scorpions in the scorpion slaughterhouse, but it was dozens of times bigger. However, Qin Feng was only stunned for a moment, and the sandstorm was already in front of him. The big poisonous scorpion's tail shot out like a sharp arrow, and the moment it landed, it stabbed several meters into the ground. Rumble! The poisonous hook was pulled out, and the sand on the ground was lifted up. It was as if a buried bomb had been detonated. Qin Feng was already flying in the air on his golden whirlwind wheel. When he saw the scene on the ground, he felt a lingering fear. Rumble! There was another explosion, and this time, the sound reverberated around Qin Feng. The big poisonous scorpion's tail was like a long dragon dancing in the air. Wherever it went, it pierced through the air and made a series of loud, wind-breaking sounds. Qin Feng hurriedly dodged. He finally came back to his senses, and as soon as he found an opening, he slashed down with his saber. Instantly, a golden saber chi that was hundreds of meters long fell from the sky and smashed into the big poisonous scorpion's back. However, after a series of loud sounds, the poisonous scorpion was not affected at all. There was a layer of hard shell on its skin, and it was as hard as rock. Hiss! This strike enraged the great poisonous scorpion. The 2 pairs of appendages on its head slashed through the air, creating a series of loud, wind-breaking sounds. Its mouth also let out a sharp cry, causing goosebumps to rise all over Qin Feng's body. However, the big poisonous scorpion's main attack weapon was the poisonous hook on its tail. At this moment, the poisonous hook was swinging towards Qin Feng like a long whip. When it was about to reach Qin Feng, several shadows appeared. Gusts of wind shrouded Qin Feng. For a moment, he couldn't tell which shadow was the real stinger of the scorpion. Before he could make a final decision, a huge explosion sounded out. When the whip landed, Qin Feng felt as if his body was about to be crushed. He instantly fell to the ground several hundred meters away. The four pairs of legs on the scorpion's chest moved rapidly, propelling its enormous body to chase after Qin Feng like a sharp arrow. In what seemed like the span of a few breaths, this enormous creature had already reached Qin Feng's side. However, before its appendages could stab into the ground, several rays of sword light shot out from afar, unexpectedly causing this enormous scorpion to retreat a few steps. Swish, swish, swish. Several black figures flew over, and soon, 6 people landed around Qin Feng. They were all dressed in white robes, and it was the first time Qin Feng had seen the patterns on their clothes. Among the 6, there was an old man in his 50s standing in front, while the other 5 stood behind him in a strange formation. "Huh, I've been looking for you for more than a month, and I've finally seen you today. Set up the sword formation." The old man's voice was deep and powerful. As soon as he gave the order, the 5 disciples behind him immediately drew their swords from their waists. The old man had already flown over, and his sword descended from the sky. Instantly, it was as if the heavens and earth were about to collapse. The berserk aura of the sword Qi left Qin Feng speechless. Rumble. A huge explosion sounded out. The old man's seemingly light sword pierced forward, but it formed thousands of sword rays in the air. The surging sword Qi exploded around the scorpion's body. It was as if the scorpion was in a minefield, and all the landmines in its surroundings were detonated. However, under this powerful sword Qi, the scorpion did not suffer much damage. The surface of its carapace shone with a black light, and not a single sword mark was left on it. "Good fellow, you're much more powerful than I imagined. However, you're still a beast, so how can you fight against a human?" The old man roared angrily, and the long sword in his hand danced even faster. At this moment, the 5 disciples had already leaped into the air. The positions they were standing in were very strange. It was as if they had formed a sea of stars in the sky. Each disciple swung out hundreds of sword rays, and it was as if the light of the stars was shining on the sandy ground. Another even more violent explosion sounded out, and the sand within 100 meters of the battlefield was all blown up by the wind. It was a scene of doomsday. Qin Feng had already recovered from a shock, and he saw Qiuya rushing over on Flaming Dragon Horse. Behind her was a large group of Sacred Gate disciples. "Fuck, what's going on here? Is this the end of the world? How is this the end of the world? That's a sandstorm. Everyone run. What are your eyes looking at? It's obviously a huge poisonous scorpion. There's actually someone fighting with that poisonous scorpion. Aren't they afraid of death? Rumor has it that this poisonous scorpion slaughterhouse has a secretive poisonous scorpion king. The little poisonous scorpions here are all born by the poisonous scorpion king. The poisonous scorpion king has countless spiritual stones hidden in its body. Its shell is hard and can be used as a defensive spiritual armor. Its body is a high-quality medicinal ingredient that can be used to refine unique spiritual pills. The crowd had rushed over after hearing the commotion. At this moment, they were standing hundreds of meters away and discussing. Qiuya had already reached Qin Feng's side. She quickly got off her horse and threw herself into his arms. "Qin Feng, are you all right? I don't want to go alone. Let's go together." Seeing Qiuya's pleading expression, Qin Feng hugged her in his arms. "I'm fine. There's a poisonous scorpion king over there, and I plan to subdue it." Qin Feng had subdued a giant winged fire demon. Back at the Thousand Shadows sect, it was the fire demon that killed Feng Xian. Last night, when he stepped into the mysterious ice sect, it was the fire demon that went on a killing spree. Qin Feng realized the power of the giant beasts in the divine continent. Subduing a giant beast was equivalent to subduing a small sacred sect. The poisonous scorpion king in front of him was incomparably ferocious and violent. It was even more powerful than the fire demon. Qiuya looked at Qin Feng with a dumbfounded expression. She could not understand Qin Feng's thoughts. You want to subdue that poisonous scorpion king? Why don't you just forget about it?" Qiuya still did not know Qin Feng's current strength. She saw that the poisonous scorpion king was ferocious and violent. How could it be so easy to subdue it? Moreover, after coming to the Divine Continent, Chiyoyu realized that the sacred sect disciples here were all very powerful. They were all venerables above the true energy realm. Now that there were many sect disciples gathered here, Chiyoyu was afraid that her beauty would bring trouble to Qin Feng. Qin Feng had already made up his mind. If he could subdue this poisonous scorpion king, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. However, before he could make a move, the white-robed elder who was fighting suddenly retreated. On the other hand, the 5 disciples were still setting up a sword array to trap the poisonous scorpion king. You ants are not allowed to gather here. My Empyrean Terminus sect has taken a fancy to this poisonous scorpion king. If you don't leave now, don't blame me for being rude. The elder's eyes were full of dignity. It turned out that he was afraid that these sacred sect disciples would compete with him for the giant beast, so he deliberately came to drive them away. There were at least 100 Holy Gates disciples surrounding the area, and their cultivation bases were all different. When they heard the old man's identity, their expressions changed drastically. It's actually one of the 5 masters of the Divine Land, a senior from the Empyrean Terminus sect. Sumo's sword fell, and a huge sword chi instantly condensed in the air, pointing directly at Qin Feng. Chapter 1451. Even Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. When he saw Sumo's attack, he knew that this old man's cultivation was high. But now that he was facing Sumo's sword attack, he realized that he had underestimated his strength. Qin Feng had no time to think. As he thrust his spear into the void, he slapped Chiyoyu with his palm. Chiyoyu immediately retreated hundreds of meters away. At this moment, Sumo's sword chi had already fallen and collided with the thousands of red spear radiants in the air, causing an earth-shattering noise. Rumble. The violent airflow swept across the ground and immediately blew Qin Feng up. Sumo's expression changed slightly. He did not expect Qin Feng to be so powerful at such a young age. However, under the strong power of the Rainbow Devil Storm Spear, Sumo leaped lightly and retreated to the safe ground. Qin Feng was seriously injured, but he did not dare to stop. When he saw Sumo approaching, he quickly leaped up and slashed at the void. The 100-meter-long golden saber, Chi, seemed to split the sky into 2. Sumo's expression changed again, but he quickly slashed down with his sword. The sword chi immediately condensed into a huge long sword and shot out. When the long sword hit the saber chi, it was as if it had stabbed into a piece of tofu and split the golden saber into 2. The loud noise exploded in the air, as if a crack had been blasted in the sky. After the huge sword chi broke through the golden saber, it was still flying and landed on the ground where Qin Feng was standing. It immediately exploded and raised a cloud of dust. Good boy, you have a lot of treasures on you. It seems that today is my lucky day. Not only will I find the Scorpion King, but I will also get some cultivation resources. Sumo's old voice penetrated the dust. He did not take Qin Feng seriously at all, as if he was determined to kill him. A black shadow flashed, and Sumo had already landed on top of Qin Feng's head. His face was full of a playful smile, and he deliberately did not slash down quickly. Instead, he slowly raised the long sword in his hand above his head, as if he wanted to torture Qin Feng mentally. Qin Feng lay in a huge pit and panted heavily. He realized that Sumo's strength was at the same level as the sect leader of Thousand Shadows sect, Qing Chun. He was many times stronger than the sect leaders of small sects like Xian Immortal and Ling Jinfeng. Just as the long sword was about to fall, a fiery red mighty cannon appeared in front of Qin Feng's abdomen. Sumo's expression changed when he saw the wind cloud devil cannon. Obviously, he did not know what it was. Bang, 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 bang. But before he could figure it out, the 2 muzzles on the wind and cloud wild demon cannon had already fired fiercely. Qin Feng still owed the system 1 million hedonist points, and he only had 69,000 hedonist points left. He had no money to buy other star technology war cannons, so he could only use the mad demon cannon that could be activated with genuine chi to bombard Sumo. Suddenly, Thousands of genuine chi cannonballs shot into the sky, startling Su Mo. He quickly sheathed his sword and dodged. His speed of escape was so fast that even the vital energy bullet could not catch up to him. Qin Fan took advantage of this gap to jump out of the pit and fired the cannon at Su Mo. There were so many genuine chi cannonballs that even Su Mo could not dodge them with all his strength. He was hit by dozens of cannonballs, and his expression changed drastically. He thought that he would be blown to pieces. But after a while, Su Mo realized that the genuine chi cannonballs did not cause much physical damage to him. "You little brat, trying to play tricks on me with this stupid thing? I'll kill you with my own hands." Su Mo was furious and chased after Qin Fan instead of escaping. Qin Fan was extremely depressed. Although the genuine chi cannonballs of the Wind and Cloud Wild Demon Cannon were not as powerful as the tracking cannonballs of the Black Dragon series, ordinary martial artists of LV6 genuine chi and below would not dare to face them head-on. But now, Su Mo did not even bat an eye at all. Qin Fan did not believe it, and threw dozens of upper spiritual stones into the Wind and Cloud Wild Demon Cannon. Suddenly, the cannonballs of the Wind and Cloud Wild Demon Cannon became even more ferocious, and the genuine chi cannonballs filled the sky like a heavy rain. Su Mo was no longer afraid of these sugar-coated cannonballs. He braved the storm and rushed toward Qin Fan. There was a layer of genuine chi shield in front of Su Mo, and the genuine chi cannonballs could not even penetrate it. The cannonballs landed on it like ripples on water. "Brat, let's see what other trump cards you have. Everything is useless in front of absolute strength." Su Mo rushed to Qin Fan and casually slapped the genuine chi cannonball away and landed on Qin Fan's body. Hundreds of cannonballs were so powerful that Qin Fan was blown away even with the protection of the holy rock armor. He had purposely returned to Chiyoya's side. Just as Qin Fan landed, Su Mo had already turned into a black shadow and followed him. He swung his long sword and looked like he was going to kill Qin Fan and Chiyoya. Boom! The sword chi shook violently in the air, and a long crack appeared on the ground. Su Mo's expression changed. The moment he landed, he immediately flew around in the dust. However, he did not find Qin Fan and Chiyoya even after searching for hundreds of meters. How is this possible? They ran away from me? Su Mo looked incredulous. He could not figure out what was going on no matter how hard he thought. At the same time, Qin Fan and Chiyoya landed on the Immortal Island. Qin Fan sat cross-legged and started to recuperate as soon as he landed. Chiyoya looked around with her beautiful eyes wide open in shock. Where is this?" Qin Fan said while he was recuperating. "This is called the Immortal Island. It's different from the other planes in the secular world of China and the Divine Land. No one knows the formation to enter this place, so you don't have to worry about Su Mo." Chiyoya was stunned by Qin Fan's words. When she first stepped into the Divine Land, she felt like she was dreaming. She never thought that there would be a place like the Divine Land outside of the secular world of China. However, the Immortal Island in front of her was even more magical. It was surrounded by abundant spiritual chi. There was a towering tree full of fiery red fruits in front of her, and countless small fire beasts were playing under it. Not far away, there was a 5-meter-tall giant beast running. Hua Xiaojin, Hua Yin, and the other girls were not on the Immortal Island. They had probably returned to the Spirit City. Duan Yu and the others were cultivating on the Immortal Island. Ever since Qin Fan opened the Immortal Island, the 4 heroes had been sitting cross-legged here day and night. Now, they had all broken through their realms. Duan Yu and Golden-Haired Lion King had reached the LV7 Genuine Chi realm, while Shimin Shui and Ouyang Feng had reached the LV4 Genuine Chi realm. "Qin Fan, there's someone here," and a giant beast. Chiyoya became alert when she came to her senses. She still did not know much about the Immortal Island. The chaotic true chi in Qin Fan's body slightly stabilized. He opened his eyes and smiled at Chiyoya, saying, "Don't be afraid. Those 4 people are my subordinates. That giant winged fire demon is also my little brother." Chiyoya looked at the 4 people and one beast in the distance in disbelief. She never expected them to be Qin Fun's subordinates. She was extremely intelligent and quickly thought of a deeper place. Suddenly, she widened her beautiful eyes and shouted, "Qin Fun, don't tell me this immortal island is also yours?" Qin Fun's smile became even wider. "You can say that, but it's not completely mine. However, the area that you can see now is my territory. As for the place in the distance that is shrouded in immortal fog, I have never been there." Xiaoya became more and more interested in the immortal island. She could feel that this was a land of immortals. The surrounding spiritual qi was dense, and it was even stronger than that of China. Qin Fun took Xiaoya to wander around the immortal island. The two of them walked to the end of the plains. In front of them was a land shrouded in immortal fog. It was impossible to see what was inside the fog. "Qin Fun, can't we go in?" Xiaoya asked curiously. Qin Fun was also very curious. When he first opened the immortal island, he wanted to explore the land shrouded in immortal fog. However, Little Pig advised him not to go there rashly. At least, his current realm was too low. However, the outside was now occupied by Suimo. With Qin Fun's current state, there was no way he could go out. He knew that the immortal island was a higher-level immortal cultivation world. Even an ordinary stone on the ground was comparable to a medium spiritual stone in the divine land. Qin Fun thought that if he stepped into the land shrouded in immortal fog, the concentration of spiritual qi might be even denser. Perhaps he could find some spiritual herbs and try to break through the barrier of level 8 genuine qi. Just as he was planning, Little Pig's voice sounded in his mind. "Master, risk and opportunity coexist. If you really want to go to the land shrouded in immortal fog, it's best to bring Giant Winged Fire Demon and the 4 heroes with you." Since Little Pig had suggested taking the risk, Qin Fun no longer hesitated. He immediately called Giant Winged Fire Demon, Duan Yu, and Golden Fur Lion King over. "Xiaoya, stay in those areas and wait for me to come back." Qin Fun instructed Xiaoya after making his preparations. Xiaoya hurriedly grabbed Qin Fun's arm. She had just met Qin Fun in the Divine Land and did not want to leave Qin Fun's side for even a moment. "Bring me along." Xiaoya raised her little head with a pleading look on her face. Qin Feng helped her straighten her hair that had been messed up by the wind. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, this immortal island is my territory. Nothing will happen to me." Qin Fun did not mention that the land shrouded in immortal fog was full of danger, mainly because he did not want Xiaoya to worry. In the end, he did not bring Xiaoya along. Instead, he asked Shimin Shueishue and Ouyang Feng to protect her outside. After all, this was Immortal Island. No one knew what the land shrouded in immortal fog was like. Xiaoya's strength was too low. Qin Fun was afraid that if she really encountered any danger, he would not even be able to protect himself, let alone save Xiaoya. After settling Xiaoya down, Qin Fun set off. Giant Winged Fire Demon walked in front to lead the way. With every step it took, it felt like the ground would shake. Qin Fun walked in the middle. Behind him were the 2 heroes, Duan Yu and Golden Fur Lion King. With Qin Fun's lineup, if they were in the Divine Land, they would be among the top existences. However, now that they were walking in the unknown territory of Immortal Island, everyone felt inexplicably nervous. Immortal Island was shrouded in immortal fog, and a few of them had already walked into the immortal fog. Qin Fun realized that as long as he stepped on the ground, the surrounding immortal fog would automatically dissipate. Those areas would become clear, and they were not much different from the area around the Fire Demon tree. Chapter 1452. Little Pig, what's going on? Qin Feng asked anxiously. Little Pig's voice was also anxious. "I'm not sure. Maybe the Fire Demon has discovered danger." "Master, do you want to retreat?" The gigantic winged Fire Demon ran so fast that it covered dozens of meters with a single stride. Qin Feng did not hesitate at all. He immediately picked up the Rainbow Devil Storm Spear and chased after the Fire Demon. Since he had subdued the Fire Demon, he would treat it like family. How could he let the Fire Demon's only son fall into danger? "Master, be careful." Let us scout out the situation first. Just as Qin Feng stepped on the whirlwind golden wheel and flew away, Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu immediately rushed in front of him. The three of them were extremely fast and quickly caught up with the gigantic winged fire demon. The fire demon did not continue to run wildly. It stopped at a plain valley and roared as it fought. When the three of them arrived, they were shocked to see hundreds of dark blue wolves gathered at the bottom of the plain valley. Roar! Roar! The gigantic winged fire demon was already surrounded by dozens of ice wolves, but it did not run at all. It bravely attacked and roared at the sky. Little Pig immediately said, "Master," the fire demon said, "those are all rank 4 spiritual beasts. They're comparable to martial artists at LV7 Genuine Chi. It wants Master to run." Qin Feng was amazed. This immortal island was indeed unusual. Hundreds of rank 4 spiritual beasts had appeared on a random plain. Qin Feng's flame golden eagle and glacial snow mastiff had only broken through to rank 2 spiritual beasts. They were comparable to martial cultivators at LV3 or 4 Genuine Chi. Now that Qin Feng had stepped into LV7 Genuine Chi, he was invincible against martial artists of the same realm. However, he was now facing hundreds of fierce spiritual beasts at LV7 Genuine Chi. Moreover, he had been injured by Su Imo not long ago. It was impossible for him to fight against the ice wolves in the valley. Qin Feng could not, and neither could the gigantic winged fire demon. Although it was a rank 6 magical beast, it could not withstand the ice wolves' attacks. However, the giant winged fire demon didn't retreat. It used its mountainous body to block the incoming ice wolves, not allowing any ice wolves to escape from its back. "Master, you go first. We'll go help the fire demon." Duan Yu and Golden Fur Lion King couldn't watch any longer. Duan Yu was trying to persuade Qin Feng, but Golden Fur Lion King had a fiery temper. The dragon's saber chopped down from the sky, and suddenly, a golden saber chi that was several hundred meters long fell into the valley, and a crack as thick as an arm appeared on the grass. The 3 ice wolves didn't have time to dodge, and directly exploded under the surging saber chi. Roar! The Golden Fur Lion King's blade completely enraged the pack of ice wolves. Immediately, more than 20 ice wolves charged at the Lion King. Those ice wolves had strong physiques, and their limbs were extremely developed. They could easily leap dozens of meters in an instant. More than a dozen ice wolves leaped into the air. They opened their mouths wide to reveal their white fangs. Hundreds of ice thorns fell from the sky, like a magnificent scene of 10,000 arrows falling. The Golden Fur Lion King's expression became grave. He immediately raised his blade, and a golden light flashed, breaking through the ice rain. However, there were still dozens of ice thorns that fell, sending the Golden Fur Lion King flying. Roar! The moment the Lion King fell to the ground, the pack of ice wolves immediately pounced forward as if they had gone mad. They opened their bloody mouths, looking like they were going to swallow him alive. Seeing this, Duan Yu immediately flew over. Just as he was in the air, he pointed with 2 fingers. His fingers were so fast that they created wind. Instantly, sword rays shot out in all directions, as if thousands of light spots were shooting out. Bang, 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 bang. Those ice wolves were hit by the sword chi, but the scene of them being pierced by the sword rays did not happen. The ice wolf's fur was extremely hard. When the sword chi hit them, there was a muffled sound like a hammer hitting a wall. Although the power of the 6-pulse divine sword was unable to kill the pack of ice wolves, it forced the ice wolves that pounced at the Golden Fur Lion King to retreat. The Golden Fur Lion King immediately grabbed the Dragon Slayer's saber and leaped down. The long saber chi exploded on the plains, and a few more ice wolves were blasted into pieces. The battle was extremely intense, but this was only the beginning of the huge battle. The hundreds of ice wolves suddenly stopped attacking and raised their heads to the sky and howled. The originally quiet plains trembled slightly. When Qin Feng and the other 2 looked around, their expressions changed drastically. Dust flew in the distance, and hundreds of ice wolves rushed over. Not good, master. There must be a wolf's den nearby. I'm afraid you've stepped into the ice wolf's territory. If you don't run now, it'll be too late. Little Pig's voice was extremely anxious. Qin Feng also felt a strong sense of danger without needing it to say anything. However, at this moment, the system's notification sounded in his mind. Ding! The Hedonist sovereign system has issued a quest. Subdue the 10 great savage beasts. There is no time limit for the quest. For every savage beast subdued, the reward is 100,000 sovereign points. The rest of the rewards are yet to be determined. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Feng, for successfully subduing the giant winged fire demon. The system rewards host 100,000 sovereign points. The host total sovereign points, 169,000 sovereign points. Qin Feng was stunned. When he regained his senses, he hurriedly asked, Little Pig, what are the 10 great savage beasts in this quest? Little Pig quickly replied, the 10 great savage beasts don't specifically refer to any 10 beasts. As long as they meet the system's criteria, it's fine. However, the higher the level of the savage beast master subdued, the more abundant the rewards will be. Qin Feng understood and continued to ask, have the poisonous Scorpion King and these ice wolves been determined as savage beasts by the system? The poisonous Scorpion King is a savage beast. These ice wolves don't count. Qin Feng was a bit depressed. He had planned on subduing an ice wolf to complete the quest. Now, there were more and more ice wolves gathered, increasing from 100 to more than 300. The giant winged fire demon couldn't hold on anymore. Its roars became more and more desperate, but the intensity of its voice became weaker. Duan Yu and Golden Fur Lion King also began to fight a bloody battle. If the two of them hadn't recently stepped into true Qi Stage 7, they would have long been torn to shreds by this group of crazy ice wolves. They were all fighting to buy time for Qin Feng to escape. However, when Qin Feng saw this scene, he was already burning with rage. Rumble! He leaped into the air and stabbed the long spear in his hand towards the ground. Instantly, thousands of spear lights rained down and blasted dozens of ice wolves into pieces. Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu had already been recalled into the system. Qin Feng couldn't recall the giant winged fire demon, so he let Little Pig order it to leave. At first, the fire demon roared and refused to leave. However, under Qin Feng's strict orders, it dejectedly ran back to the area where the fire demon tree was. Along the way, the ice wolves chased after the fire demon, while Qin Feng rode the golden whirlwind wheel. These ice wolves were extremely fierce on the plains, but they couldn't fight in the air. They desperately jumped up and tried to catch Qin Feng, but they couldn't even reach the soles of his shoes. Roar, roar! The ice wolves roared angrily into the sky. Their oily green eyes turned blood red. Qin Feng waved his hand, and a purple heavenly eagle bow appeared in his hand. The longbow's design was domineering. It didn't have a bowstring, but he pulled the longbow in the air. The moment he let go, 3 huge, beautiful heavenly eagles swooped down and exploded in the midst of the ice wolves. Rumble! The heavenly eagles kept falling like angry birds. The ice wolves were numerous and densely distributed. Every time the heavenly eagles landed, they would explode. Although they couldn't kill the ice wolves, they left some wounds on their bodies. After chasing for a while, some ice wolves started to retreat. No one could last long in such a situation where they could only take a beating. More and more ice wolves retreated. In the end, the entire pack of ice wolves fled back to their land. Qin Feng and the fire demon finally stopped. At this moment, they were less than 5 kilometers away from the base of the fire demon tree. If the pack of ice wolves really charged into the main city, it would be a battle to the death. Qin Feng suddenly realized a very serious problem. Although the area around the fire demon tree was his territory, it would also be attacked by other forces. He had to strengthen the defense of the main city as soon as possible. Otherwise, if other forces discovered this place, he would have to occupy it. Now, with the ice wolves in front and Su Mo behind, Qin Feng felt that he was being forced into a desperate situation. However, he was still unwilling to give up. He rushed toward the fairy fog area in the opposite direction of the ice wolf's base. As he stepped in, the surrounding fairy fog quickly dissipated. The environment of this area changed slightly. After walking through a plain, a dense forest appeared in front of him. The giant winged fire demon followed Qin Feng all the way. As a rank 6 magical beast, it was much more sensitive to hidden dangers around it than Qin Feng. Until now, the fire demon had not roared or issued a warning, which meant that there was no danger nearby. After hesitating for a while, Qin Feng gritted his teeth and entered the forest. The environment here was similar to Devil Beast Mountain, but the spiritual qi here was 10 times denser. As Qin Feng walked in the forest, the dense spiritual qi automatically entered his body. After a while, he felt that his internal injuries had automatically healed. Master, this is a forest rich in resources. There must be many spiritual herbs and spiritual plants here. It's because these plants have healing effects. When Master breathes in the aura of the herbs in the air, his internal injuries will automatically heal. Little Pig hurriedly explained. Its voice was filled with surprise. Master had finally found a good place. Qin Feng was also a little excited. He sped up and rushed into the forest. However, he remained vigilant at all times. The more spiritual herbs and spiritual plants were in a forest like this, the more ferocious beasts would appear. After walking for an unknown period of time, the emerald spiritual ring on Qin Feng's hand suddenly shone brightly. This spiritual ring not only had the storage function of a space ring, but it could also sense the existence of treasures. However, since Qin Feng had obtained the emerald spiritual ring, it had only reacted when he met Ao Shaoan during the money laundering mission in Hong Kong. He did not expect it to suddenly react again. Wow, Master, you're going to be rich. There's a fruit of embryonic spirit in front of you. As soon as the spiritual ring reacted, Little Pig's excited voice sounded in Qin Feng's mind. Although Qin Feng had not seen the treasure and did not know what the fruit of embryonic spirit was, he could guess from Little Pig's reaction that it must be an incredible treasure. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.